Her thoughts were scattered. You also told the police that she cut you.
Judge Judy.
It's what happens when you drink.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Justin Jacobs is suing his ex-girlfriend, Jessica Paolo, for filing false charges and property taken without permission.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 124 on the calendar in the matter of Jacobs versus Paolo.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Mr. Jacobs, Miss Paolo is your former girlfriend, and it is your claim that she filed a false police report about you, causing you to be incarcerated for 4 days, requiring you to hire an attorney, and that she has some property that belongs to you. I think that the property is a rifle that was a gift to you. Is that right?
From my father.
And after you were arrested, it is your claim she took your truck, and there was stuff in your truck. When you finally got your truck back, all of this property in your truck, which was hunting gear, etc., was gone. And the defendant says that you did, in fact, commit the acts that she complained of. She's countersuing. She's not happy living in that apartment. She's afraid. A phone that you allegedly broke and a hole that you placed in the wall in the apartment that she's going to have to fix. That's your counterclaim. Okay. I have so many questions. One in particular that I don't know if you're going to be able to prove to me. You filed a restraining order against him when?
In November 2015.
I'd like to see a copy of that restraining order. And you were living together at the time?
Till November 8th.
How long had you been living together?
Off and on since February.
Was it your apartment or your apartment?
It was my apartment.
No, I want to see what you said in order to get this restraining order.
He hit me in my eye, Your Honor.
No, I'd like to see. You had to file a petition. This is the order. I want to see what you filed, not what you say happened. I want to see what you told the court that you had.
The only thing I have, Your Honor, is the police report that states he abused me that night. And
police weren't there when he allegedly did anything to you. That's what you told them.
They were there and they took pictures of my eye.
The police...
This is what he did to me.
Listen to me. The police weren't there for the event. What I want to see is what you wrote in your complaint. Because one of the interesting things that the same complaint against your ex-husband. Do you have that complaint?
Yeah, the restraining order that she put on me.
No. Are you following what I'm saying? You wrote something in here and you said that the defendant filed the same allegations against her ex-husband that she filed against you.
Yeah, let me find that really quick.
I would like to see that.
It's right here.
This is the application that she filed against the ex-husband.
No, against me.
That's the one she filed against you?
Yeah.
Oh, great. I want to see all of this. Is ongoing danger continued. Let me see the rest of it.
Here's the whole order right here. I actually read her ex-husband's restraining order, and it said the exact same thing about $2,000 being stolen and
Just
about him...
All I say is let me see it. Where is it? Am I correct, sir, that you have no proof of that? Am I correct, sir, that you have no proof of that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, great, so that I don't have to consider it. And am I correct that you do not have what you alleged when you petitioned the court for a protective order?
That would be the same exact paper I would have.
No, it's not. You go into court and you have to file what happened. On November 8th, you punched me in the eye and punched a hole in the wall, and I fear for my safety and request an order of protection. Then the judge will take your testimony, raise your hand, swear to tell the truth, tell me what happened on March 8th. You give the judge a little scenario, and the judge grants you an order. This is his order, but this is not what your petition was. Now, since you don't have it, I'll take a look at the police report.
Police report.
Well, you were both drunk that night.
Correct. Not as intoxicated as he was, Your Honor. The police...
You mean there are levels of intoxication? You were both drunk. That's according to the police officer.
He's an alcoholic, Your Honor. He went to rehab for not even the entire time.
So what? You were both drunk. How many times had the police been called to your premises?
Several, just because
Several.
of his abuse.
Several. And, listen to me, I know that you only pointed me in this direction. It's actually the page before that's very interesting. I spoke to Jessica in the bedroom. She had also had bloodshot, watery eyes and slightly slurred speech. Her thoughts were scattered. I asked if she was in. It was red from blood on the outside of the white part, which is the white part of the eye where you get a blood spot sometimes. I get them too. She told me that it happened a couple of days ago when we were fighting. She did not call the police then. You also told the police that she cut you. And the police looked at where she cut you because you were also drunk and it was all scabbed over. And you said that also happened a few days ago.
Yes, Your Honor.
There were 2 holes in the door. It was hard to get a straight story out of her because she kept talking about other things that have happened between them in the last few months. I assume you're her parents.
I'm her mom.
Yeah, okay. So did you read the whole report?
Not the entire
Not
thing.
well, you should read the whole report. So you had this fight because you had both been drinking, and I assume that this was part of your modus operandi relationship, because it seems to me, based upon what the police officer got from both of you drunks that night, that this had been going on for quite some time. There was clearly, according to you, no evidence that on the night that the police were called on the 8th that there was any injury to your eye, just as there was no evidence that on the night in November when the police arrived that there was a fresh stab wound from her on your arm. So clearly this was your love dance. Now, when did you take his... Never drove his truck?
I only drove his truck when he said it was okay.
Okay, after he was arrested.
After he was arrested, I moved his vehicle.
So after he was
from
arrested,
my
so just a second.
parking spot to
After
another
he
parking
was
spot.
arrested, you took his truck. And what did you do with it?
I removed it from my parking spot and put it in the guest parking spot so his mother can come get his belongings from it.
Just a second. Oh, this is his
She
mother.
never was there.
This is his mother. So you moved it into the guest parking spot so that his mother could come and pick it up. How did you notify her? How did you notify his mother to come and get the truck from the guest parking spot?
She was the one who was texting me, harassing me about it. I told her everything is outside with his keys in it.
No, I'm asking you a question. If
Via
you
text.
moved the truck from your spot to the guest spot, and of course you tell the police here that he kept, and I'm not excusing you because you were drunk and clearly the two of you fought all the time. The bottom issue is, I'm sure there was violence on both sides when you were drinking. The issue is 4 days in jail. Had you ever been in jail before? Yes.
Same
How-
exact thing. No. Sorry.
Well, she certainly can't pick him. She did file a restraining order against her ex-husband, did she not?
It was not similar circumstances.
That's not what I'm asking you. Fear is fear.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I have recordings on my phone of her removing the doorknob she blamed on me. I have a picture of
That
her
was
hand.
dismissed in court, Your
I don't
Honor.
want to hear you till I look at you. Continue.
I have recordings of her admitting to having my keys and refusing to give them to me November 8th.
You're talking about the keys to the truck.
Yeah.
I don't care about the doorknob. You two drunks. I'm only interested now in what was in the truck and whether or not she actually removed stuff from the truck. Where's his rifle?
That is my rifle, Your Honor. He gave
Where
it
is
to me
it?
as a gift.
Where is it?
I have it. This is my rifle. I have the papers. It's in my name.
Your Honor.
It is a pink camo.
Don't
It is a
speak.
pink camo case, Your Honor.
I can't.
Shh.
Go. The door's right there. Where's my keys? The ones you stole from me? You won't give it back? How am I supposed to get in my truck when you have my keys? You won't give them to me.
Shut up.
I'd really appreciate it if you give me my keys back
Put your sandals on.
and stop throwing things at me.
Put your sandals on. Go in your truck. Get out.
You have my keys. I can't.
I'm tired of fighting with you. Go.
I'm not doing anything.
Go.
You're the one that locked me in here.
Spend the night.
Broke the door.
at
And
Osco.
I won't give you my
Go
keys.
spend the night at Osco.
Where's my keys?
Go spend the night
Where's
at
my
Osco.
keys?
Where's your shoes?
Where's my keys to my truck?
Where's your shoes?
What was in the truck?
All of my hunting stuff, multiple packs with a
Do
lot
you
of...
have any bills, receipts for the hunting stuff that was in the truck?
Your Honor.
Yep, right here.
I'd like to take a look at them. What is the replacement?
$800 and something. I went on the webpage and there's actually a receipt in there, and
You're mumbling and I don't understand
sorry,
you.
$800 something. There's the printed out paper with the price in that list
When you finally got the truck back, where did you get it back from?
from a parking spot on the side of the apartment where
Who got it back?
I actually did, Your Honor.
Could you step up, please?
Sure.
You're his mother.
Yes, I am.
On what date did you pick up the truck?
It was November 12th, and Your
When
Honor,
you-
I had to get it without the keys because she
Just a
wouldn't give them
sec-
to me.
Just a second. You picked it up on November 12th.
Yes.
How did you get it?
We actually had AAA come and get it
Where did you take it to?
to my house.
Was there anything in the truck?
No, there was not.
Your
I
Honor,
mean, any
There was
property?
not. Actually, the AAA man even said that if we
Don't
need to-
tell me what the
Okay.
AAA man said.
Yeah,
I
there
just
was
asked
nothing
you
in the
if
truck.
there was any
No.
property in the truck.
No.
that's a lie.
You
I
saw
have-
something in the
He
truck?
was a witness.
Okay, come. Who are you?
Her uncle,
What's your last name?
Davidson, Michael Davidson.
Mr. Davidson, were you there on November 12th when AAA came?
She came in.
Were you there on November 12th?
I was at her
when
apartment, but
Trip-
yes,
when
I was at her
AAA
apartment, and they came
And?
and took her truck.
And?
And Jessica had put all of his stuff in the truck. And
No. Just a second. Listen to me. I don't want you to tell me anything that you didn't see. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I could understand you say, I'm not returning the rifle to him, he's a nut. But you already returned 2 handguns to him. So you're not afraid of him having these 2 handguns. The only thing is the rifle.
It's my rifle.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Justin Jacobs says ex-girlfriend Jessica Piolo owes for false charges and stolen property. The defendant is countersuing for apartment damage, moving expenses, and a phone.
Now, you saw AAA come for the truck. When for the first time did you go into the truck?
Well, he got arrested that night, November 8th. I had come over that night, and I stayed because Jessica was afraid. And the next day,
Did you notice
he
she
had
was,
his
just
truck.
a second, did you notice she had been drinking?
Well, she was
Did
sitting
you
outside
notice that she
smoking.
had been drinking?
Well, she was smoking. I couldn't tell if she was drinking, but she was outside smoking, and she had told me what happened. And,
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you again. When did you go into the truck?
well, that night, his truck was right in front of her apartment, and there was a bunch of stuff in the truck.
Don't say anything to him. Say nothing.
Sorry.
I know who the players are. Did you move the truck to the guest spot? You move the truck, or did she?
No, she did.
She did.
Right.
Did she move the truck to the guest spot that night?
No, not that night.
Were you there when she moved the truck to the guest spot?
Yes.
On what date?
I believe it was the next day or the day after.
So a day or 2 later.
Yes.
And you were present.
Yeah,
Just a second.
yes.
Be very careful, Mr. Davidson.
Yeah.
You were present. Who drove the truck from the front of the house to the guest spot?
Jessica,
You did not go with her.
no,
What did she do with the keys when she brought them inside?
I'm not sure. I think
So you
they were
don't-
by the door because the mother was texting him every day to get the truck and to get his stuff.
Just a second.
Okay.
Don't tell me what you think. I don't care what you think. If you don't know what she did with the keys, say, I don't know what she did with the keys.
Okay.
Now, do you know what she did with the keys?
Yes, they were hanging on a latch by the door. There was a spot where they hung their keys, and the mother was in constant contact with her.
No.
About
You
getting the
don't
truck.
you don't know that.
No, I do. I
How
was staying with her because she was afraid to be alone because he had gun and another hunting rifle. And
What happened with that property?
we returned it all to his mother and his aunt.
And you personally were there?
Yes.
On what date?
Oh, I believe it was about 4 or 5 days later, and the police came and witnessed it.
The police came into the house.
Yes.
Your Honor, may I say something?
Just a second.
Okay.
There's no question that the police came to the house. There was an escort at the house.
Yes, that's
Police
correct.
escort in the house. And you retrieved certain property of
Yes,
his
that
that
is
was
correct.
in the house.
Yes.
No question about
Okay.
that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'm sure that there have been times when he hit you. I'm sure that you also stabbed him. That's what happens when you drink.
Your Honor, the day before all of this happened, he claimed I stabbed him, but he tased himself and his father because he was drunk.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Justin Jacobs has accused ex-girlfriend Jessica Piolo of filing false charges and stealing the contents of his truck.
Now I'm talking about the truck.
Right.
When the police came to the house and you were there, where was the truck?
His mother had already taken the truck with AAA.
Before. How many days before?
I believe she took the truck on the 9th.
Okay.
And then...
Now, there was no key. Mr. Davidson, do you understand?
Yeah.
And based upon what you told me, your niece had put the key on a hook near the door.
Right, right.
Well, why would it be necessary for AAA to come and tow the truck if you or your niece or her mother gave the keys to the truck to his mother?
She didn't get the keys that next day. She wanted his truck.
Just a second.
So she called AAA to get the truck.
Well, wouldn't that have been easy, sir, to just give her the key? You said she was harassing her over the phone about the truck.
Right.
Well, that must have happened between the 8th of November and the 9th of November, right?
Yeah.
And she didn't come with AAA to get the truck until the 9th of November. So why didn't you just give her the keys? Because according to what you said, the truck sat out in front of the house for a while and then was moved to the guest spot and wasn't picked up until a couple of days later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She took the truck because she didn't want Jessica to be driving the truck.
Of course. Why would she want Jessica to be driving the truck?
That's right.
I
Well,
wanted
Justin
to-
was in jail. Justin had gotten arrested.
So Justin was arrested because of a complaint made by your niece when she was drunk.
He hit her.
I'm sure that there have been times when he hit you. I'm sure days before. That's what happens when you drink.
Your Honor, the day before all of this happened, he claimed I stabbed him, but he tased himself and his father because he was drunk.
Where is the stuff that was in his truck?
I had set every piece of property, guns, safe, hunting equipment, camping equipment, tents.
Just a second. So you returned to him the 2 handguns, correct? The police came?
handguns
And a rifle.
that came in when he brought the guns to my house. I gave everything that he owned to him. The day of August 23rd, 2015, he came and gave me that rifle
Listen
as a
to me.
gift.
Listen
That's
to
the
me.
only gun that
Listen-
is
listen
in
to
my...
me. I'm just asking you a question. I said you turned over the 2 handguns to his mother.
Correct.
Right? So you're not afraid of him having these 2 registered handguns. That's all I'm getting at. So he's got 2 registered handguns. And the only thing that's important is the rifle. Why would somebody who was so afraid of somebody else, I could understand you say, I'm not returning the rifle to him, he's a nut. But you already returned 2 handguns to him.
Your Honor, that's exactly why I gave the rifle to the evidence room, because I didn't want any
Fine.
doubt
So
at all,
they-
but they claimed...
So where is the rifle now?
It's my rifle.
They were-
Closed captioning sponsored by.
Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You're never going to get the rifle back. All it's going to tell you is if you get drunk and you drink with somebody with whom you have a violent relationship, you risk it. You risk it. Police are under an obligation. They're under an obligation that if somebody cries, hit me, and if that person, like you, was laying on the couch, dead drunk, so you didn't even know it was a cop there until he had to shake you 3 times, right? Then what happens is the cop is going to take you into custody. Do you understand? You have to get your property back, but I'm not certain that you're going to get it back. So you have to replace it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $800. You get drunk, you spend 4 days in jail. On your counterclaim, that's dismissed.
Your
We're done.
Honor, I have...
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It's really frustrating because she took everything out of my truck.
He's lying, his mother's lying.
And now I can't even hunt this year because I have no clothes, my binocular rangefinders, all that's gone.
He's ruined my life.
Alcohol,
Every single time he promised he would stop,
not a good thing. It just causes problems.
but it continued over again, and that's when it was my last straw, and I had to protect myself.
Don't drink out of relationships for a while.
I want him out of my life and never to call me again or contact me ever.
A struggling single mom finds sympathy.
I says, I have some in my backyard saved. I'll go get it for you.
Do me a favor, Mr. Richardson. Change the place where you keep your money.
It's safe where I keep it.
Not anymore.
Now she looks for compassion in court.
He loaned you $400.
Yes, he did pay me $400.
You wrote loan.
I wrote loan because it was not a loan.
I gotcha. I don't believe you.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jamie Cox is suing her former employer, Brian Richardson, for unpaid babysitting fees, the return of a Jeep, and pain and suffering.
Order. All rise.
Now it's case number 30 on the calendar in the matter of Cox versus Richardson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Ms. Cox, this is what I gather this case is about. You met Mr. Richardson because you both have children that go to the same school?
We do.
Okay, and your child is how old?
She's...
According to you, you made an arrangement with Mr. Richardson that in exchange for babysitting for his 7-year-old daughter, that he would barter a Jeep that he had for sale for $1,500, that you fulfilled your end of the contract, and that at some point he took the Jeep back. In addition, you say you fully paid off the Jeep by working, and he owes you additional money for babysitting. Mr. Richardson says, no way. What happened was she didn't have a car, and I told her that she could use my Jeep if she babysat for my daughter, and she could use it for her own purposes. She stopped babysitting. I took back my car. That's your defense. And you also claimed, in addition to the Jeep not being sold, but just loaned to Miss Cox, you claimed 2 loans to her that she hasn't paid back. Okay, so that's the case. When did you start to use the Jeep?
In the end of October.
And is that when you started to babysit for his daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. His daughter is 7 years old, so she's in school full-time.
Yes.
When did you babysit for her?
He would drop her off first thing in the morning, about an hour to an hour and a half before school started. I would take the kids to school and then pick them up, and I would watch her for between 1 to 3 hours after school.
Okay, so you watched her 2 to 3 hours a day, let's say 5 days a week. So at most, you watched her 15 hours a week. Now,
February 12th. However, you're not taking into account, on Fridays, our kids have early dismissal. So Fridays, it was longer, and then...
Yeah, right. Okay. And in the meantime, you used the Jeep.
Yes,
all day long for yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
You went to see your friends. You used it at night. When you got a babysitter, you used it on the weekends.
Yes, ma'am.
You used it all day. Not 2 to 3 hours a day. You
Correct.
used it all day. Okay. And you did that November, December, January, and part of February.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened in February?
In February, I could not pay my rent. I had been evicted because he was not paying me my wages for watching his daughter.
Well, just a minute. So when do you claim, in your case, best case scenario, when do you claim you paid off the Jeep?
I had it paid off by January.
So in 2 months, you paid off the Jeep?
Yes, ma'am.
So in 2 months, you worked 120 hours?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Just, I'm trying to figure out whether there's a logic to her complaint.
Yes, ma'am.
So in 2 months, you paid off the Jeep, and that's when he started to pay you?
He was supposed to pay me.
He was supposed to pay you. How much was he supposed to pay you?
Minimum wage, which is...
You're making this up as we're going along. Don't make it up as we're going along. If you made it a contract, then you say he was supposed to pay me $8 an hour. He's supposed to pay me $10 an hour.
$8.31 an hour.
Well, giving you the benefit of all the hours, based upon what you told me and what you said in your complaint, was Brian was selling his 1944 Jeep Laredo for $1,500 and he needed a babysitter. But based upon what you told me, you never worked off the $1,500. I used the hours that you gave me, not 2 hours a day, but 3 hours a day, times 5 days a week is 15, times the 2 months, it's 120 hours, times the minimum wage is $8 an hour, comes to $9.60. Add the 31 cents, it's nowhere near $1,500.
I also watched her Saturdays, a lot of Saturdays. Fridays were longer hours. I would watch her when he would go out. I have all of the hours that I've worked. I ended up watching her for a total of 277 hours.
So when he turned the car over to you, I assume that you finished working this off, because that was your agreement. You know, I don't believe this story for a minute. And then you were supposed to get paid. It would seem to me that a smart lady like you would have gotten the title to the car. Did you?
I did not.
You did not.
He always had a reason why he couldn't transfer it.
No, he always had a reason. But you kept going back.
I did.
You kept going back and you kept using the Jeep.
My daughter was being diagnosed with lupus, which is a horrendous disease.
I know all
needed
about
a
lupus.
vehicle. I needed a vehicle.
I don't believe you, is my problem. I think you needed his car. He let you use the car, and he let you use the car for all of your purposes, with the exception of the time when you were taking care of your daughter and his daughter, going to school and picking her up from school. And then something happened. Now, he may have been smitten with you. I don't know. That's what you suggest in your complaint.
I have a love letter from him.
I don't care. Don't you understand? I don't care about that. If you thought that he was smitten with you, then you shouldn't have worked for him because you clearly have another boyfriend, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you shouldn't have worked for him. So if you took advantage of his being smitten with you in exchange for whatever, that's something that's for a whole other show. I'm telling you that I don't believe that he ever sold you and bartered the Jeep with you. Otherwise, you would have gotten the title when you paid it off. Now, you did take money from him. For what?
For payment.
No, just a second. You said you ran short on your rent. That's what you started to tell me. You ran short on your rent, and that happened in February.
I've been short on my rent several times. My heat has actually been shut off because he was not paying my wages.
Get another job!
I actually ended up getting another job, and then he took the Jeep 2 days before. I ended up getting fired from the job before I was even able to start.
If you weren't getting paid December, January,
I knew that if I stopped working for him, he was going to take the Jeep.
I
had no way to get my daughter to the hospital.
He was going to take the car because that was your arrangement. You could use the car as long as you picked up his daughter from school and dropped her off at school. Go ahead.
Ma'am, she lives a block from the school. That's how I met her. I saw her walking her little boy to school to pick her daughter. Her daughter's in my daughter's class. And the babysitter I had smoked nonstop all day, and I didn't want my daughter over there, so I was looking for a babysitter. And I seen her walking to school, and I thought, well, you know, she needs a car. I'll let her use my car.
Well, you don't say she needs a car. You didn't know that until you started to talk to her.
Right, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you started to talk to her. And
I told her, I said, hey, I have a Jeep. You could use it, do whatever you want to with it. I'll insure it. I'll get plates on it in exchange for watching my daughter. 1 hour in the morning and an hour and a half to 2 hours in the afternoon. Every other week, ma'am, for 9.5 weeks. She didn't watch her every week. I have split custody with my ex-wife. I have my daughter 1 week. My ex-wife has her the other week. So it wasn't all that. It was half of that.
I see. You left that out.
I apologize for leaving that out.
Yeah, you should have put that in. Okay, so it was half the time. So it was a period of 9 weeks?
Yes, ma'am, every other week. So 4 to 5 weeks is all she watched her total. And like I say, an hour in the morning, and I do visits in the afternoon.
Now I want you to tell me about the money.
Okay, she watched my daughter for a total of 1 week to start with before she started coming up short on rent and needing... So the first time she said, I'm $200 short. So I said, well, Jamie, I can lend it to you, you know. So I did. I had it in my pocket.
Did you know what kind of work she did?
She don't work.
Well, how does she support herself?
I have no idea, ma'am.
How do you support yourself?
I was working for him.
No.
Before that, I was a bartender.
A bartender for whom and during what period?
I was a bartender from the time I got to Colorado, which was in June of 2015, until October of 2015 when my car broke down. I worked in Colorado Springs. I live in Pueblo. It's about a 40-mile drive.
Okay, so you worked for 3 months?
Yes.
And where did you live before that?
Washington State.
And what did you do there?
I was a bartender there as well.
Okay. How much money in total did you give her?
$600, ma'am. That's the loan that I loaned her. I gave her money all the time. Whatever she needed, I gave it to her.
Like what?
Well, her coffee pot broke down. I bought her a coffee pot, her DVD player. I gave her $20 on 2 occasions.
We're not talking about
just because she
earth-shattering amounts of money. DVD player you bought her or you gave her?
I bought it for her.
A new one?
Yes, ma'am. And a new coffee pot. I bought her a necklace. I bought her shoes. I bought her anything she asked for, I got it for her.
Well, Mr. Richardson, it sounds to me like you were more interested in her than...
She told me the first week that I just needed a babysitter.
Well, then why'd you buy her a necklace for?
Well, because
rent, I understand.
I mean, she's watching my daughter, and the kids need to watch it. I mean, I don't know. I bought it for her. She asked for it. I got it for her.
It's ridiculous. All right, tell me about the money.
Okay, like I say, ma'am, the first week, she hadn't watched my daughter 1 week, and she was short on rent. So I lent her $200 the first time. Everything was cool for another month. Then she's going to get evicted the next day, or the landlord's coming over in an hour and a half to throw her out. So I told her, I said, Jamie, I don't have that money in the bank. I said, I have some in my backyard saved. I'll go get it for you. And I did. I got it $400 for her and gave it to her. And she never has paid me nothing back.
Do me a favor, Mr. Richardson. Change the place where you keep your money.
Well, I had it. Okay, yeah. It's safe where I keep it.
Not anymore. Used to be safe. It's not safe anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
All right? Be smart.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
You told her you were going to pay her for the furniture. Unfortunately, your choice of language was such that the camera operator here can't take a picture of it. Would you show Shakespeare, please, the emails?
Real cases, real people. Judge
employer Brian Richardson owes for babysitting fees the return of a Jeep, and pain and suffering. Brian is countersuing for unpaid loans and harassment.
So the next time was $400?
Yes, ma'am.
What date was that?
I'm not sure the exact date, but I have it right here where she, she wrote it on what she sued me on for the 400. She didn't mention the other 200, but she did mention 400 of it.
Can I see it?
Loan right here, $400. She didn't mention the other 200. And I have a text message here, ma'am, that she even says, I thought that was a loan.
Just a second. Well, you indicate that he loaned you $400.
Yes, he did pay me $400.
No, didn't say paid. You wrote loan.
I wrote loan because it was not a loan. It was payment.
You wrote loan. This is what your out-of-pocket expenses. Groceries, you say, for 9 weeks. A car seat that was ruined. A stroller that was ruined. Thanksgiving, I provided $150, replacing what Brianna destroyed. That's your daughter, I suppose. Brianna is your daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Credits, Brian paid $0, handed me $20 on 2 occasions, DVD player 20 occasions, loan $400.
Because that's what he was claiming that it was. So I even took that $400 off of here.
Good. The complaint is dismissed on the counterclaim.
Ma'am,
I'm awarding you, sir, $400. We're done.
I have a police report about harassment, ma'am, that she was harassing me constantly, and I called the police.
Just a second. Did you file for a protective order against her?
Right here, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
May I see it?
Harassment order.
May I see it? Did you get a protective order against her?
No, ma'am. I did not get a protective order. Well, the first time, one of her friends at school came up to me threatening to beat me up because I took my Jeep back that she was working off. That was the first, and I didn't say nothing about that first time. The second time, some lady comes up to me. I find out it's her mom. She comes up to me, Brian? I said, yes, ma'am. She says, I'm her mom's name, and she said, I want to tell you what a low-life piece of you are for the way you did my daughter. So that time I called the cops, ma'am, because I wasn't nothing but...
Why didn't you file a protective order? Not against her, because so far it's just her mother that harassed you.
Well, she was just down here visiting her, so she wasn't going to be there long anyway.
Complaint is dismissed. Judgment on the counterclaim for $400. We're done.
Ma'am.
We are done.
While you're excused, you may step out.
He wrote me a love letter and bought me a diamond necklace before I had even ever met him.
I gave her the diamond necklace before she was my babysitter.
I baked him cookies and I returned the necklace the very next day. I've almost lost my child 3 times because of this.
Very big mistake. Trying to be nice to her, and I couldn't believe she didn't want to give my Jeep back,
I've gone into labor because I have to walk everywhere.
Be more careful about picking my babysitters.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Sonkrant Nichols. Step forward.
21-year-old Megan Sonkrant is suing her ex-boyfriend, 24-year-old Tyler Nichols, for loans to buy bedroom furniture and matching tattoos.
Miss Sonkrant, this used to be your boyfriend. It's not your boyfriend anymore. While he was your boyfriend, the two of you went on holiday together, decided to get matching tattoos. He didn't have any money. You laid out the money for his tattoo.
Yes.
Sometime way after that, he used your credit card to purchase furniture. So there was a loan for furniture for his apartment.
Yes.
He still hadn't paid you for the tattoo, right?
Correct.
Forget about the tattoo. Do you still have the tattoo?
Yes.
Do you still have the tattoo?
Yes, but it's covered.
But what?
It's covered.
It's covered with what?
Writing.
What did it say?
It was a K with the heart, like a king.
It's what?
K with the heart.
K with
Oh,
the
with a
heart.
K with a heart. Is that your name?
No, it was king and then mine was queen.
I really have to get my hearing checked. I swear. God. Everybody better go to articulation classes.
That's not going to happen.
He continues in a moment.
Bird, that one's irritating me. Would you get it ready?
Sure, man.
You don't have to bring your new girlfriend. It's annoying. Do you understand?
Yes.
Isn't it nice I got rid of the new girlfriend?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Megan Sonkrant says ex-boyfriend Tyler Nichols owes for loans to buy bedroom furniture and matching tattoos.
Now, you moved into an apartment, you didn't have any furniture.
Correct.
And how did you get furniture?
Ms. Sonkrant offered to get
What did she say?
for me. She knew that I didn't have any furniture, so we went to the furniture store, and she helped me pick it out, basically.
Okay, great. And do you remember how much it was?
Not off the top of my head, no.
But you were making payments on it.
Not really.
You never made any payments on it?
No.
Never?
No.
Really? When was it purchased? In what month?
I would say September-ish, yeah.
And it was bought on Credit?
Yes.
How much was it?
It was $2,235.54.
Well, what kind of work were you doing, Mr. Nichols?
Worked in a factory. I was a machine operator.
Still there?
No.
What are you doing now?
Right now, I'm currently looking for a job.
So you don't have a job?
No.
And what kind of furniture did she buy you?
It was a Serta mattress, king size, and the bed frame.
TV with your new girlfriend?
Yes.
And you sleep on the mattress and the frame?
Yes.
You think it's right that the plaintiff pay for that?
I mean, it was a gift.
It might have been. I'm just asking you if you think it's right that she pay for it.
Me and him were together when she
I didn't
bought
ask.
the bed.
I didn't ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you think it's right that she pay for it?
Yeah, I should pay for it? No, I don't think it's...
Bird, that one's irritating me. Would you get it ready?
Sure. Ma'am. Over this way.
You don't have to bring your new girlfriend. It's annoying. Do you understand?
Yes.
Just annoying. Now, Miss Sonkrant,
Yes.
when did you and Mr. Nichols break up?
In the beginning of December.
When was the first payment due on the furniture?
What would have been September? October 24th.
Who made that payment?
He made that payment.
Show me.
I only have the bills. I don't have it showing that he paid, but I have evidence of him saying that he was paying me.
I would like to see that.
All these.
Isn't it nice I got rid of the new girlfriend? Just in case you think I'm going to be exceedingly hard on him.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me whether, based upon these emails, you would buy U.S. savings bonds.
Okay. Do they still sell those?
If you have confidence in the country.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you told her you were going to pay her for the furniture. Unfortunately, your choice of language was such that the camera operator here can't take a picture of it because you only know how to express yourself using four-letter expletives.
I don't believe...
You don't believe what?
Where did I say that I paid her? I told her I was going to pay for it.
Would you show Shakespeare, please, the emails? In the emails is where you told her.
Yeah, man.
Now you see where you told her you were going to pay her?
Yes, I remember those conversations.
Good. $2,235. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
I need to excuse you, man. Step out.
Judge Judy. Judge Judy.
We had talked for so long, and then we were together, and then it was just in the moment in Miami. And
No, she actually walked into my apartment and seen everything.
he picked him out, and I was like, because it was like I could make it universal, you know.
Decided I needed the stuff.
I'll always be a queen, so.
Just had all the stress of going through it. And
I will not put my thing in any names. I'll go for people that actually have their own money
basically, there's a lot of stress on it.
and can offer more than words.
I just hope to never think about it again.
Bank is closed.
I found out he was cheating on me. I wanted to leave. I didn't know what to do. What do you do?
An escape from the home of her ex and his mother.
I have text messages. She was threatening to sell my stuff. She was threatening.
Because you would have paid for it.
Don't shout out.
And her mom says she's on her own.
She calls you and tells you she's in an abusive relationship. You didn't say to her, come home.
No.
Why?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
21-year-old Cassandra Weber is suing her ex-boyfriend, 22-year-old Nathan Hofstadter, and the return of her belongings.
Order. All rise.
This is case number 73 on the calendar in the matter of Weber versus Hofstadter.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks,
Would
have a
you
seat.
get that stuff off the table, please? How old are you, Miss Weber?
21.
How long did you live with Mr. Hofstetter and his mother?
I lived with Nathan for the 2.5 years we were together, and I lived with him and his mother and his father for, I'd say, a good year.
No.
Shh. Okay, so you were with Nathan for 2.5 years, and you lived together until you were how old?
21.
Where?
We moved into an apartment together, and then after that, we decided that he was out of a job, so we moved in with his parents.
What about you? Did you have a job?
I did have a job, yes.
So he had no job?
Yes, the lease had ended, and so we decided, you know...
Okay, so the lease ended?
Yes, and he couldn't afford his half, so we decided that we would move in with his parents. And we lived with them for, I'd say, a good 6 or 7 months. And then we got a house with a couple of roommates, and we lived there for, I'd say, 3 months. And then we broke the lease because the roommates couldn't hold up their end of the deal as well with him. And so we had moved in with his parents I'd moved to Iowa for 3. And then we came back and lived with them for about another month. And then we had broken up, so I moved out.
I got the dates right here, Your Honor.
If you annoy me again, I'm just going to throw you out. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. In the time that you lived with Mrs. Hofstetter, were you working?
I was, yes.
Did you pay rent?
I did not.
So for the year that you lived with her, you were working?
Yes.
And not paying rent?
Yes.
Now, when you went to Iowa and came back, before you went to Iowa, who were you working for?
IHOP, as a waitress.
Full-time or part-time?
Full-time.
And what did you do in Iowa?
We had moved there because Nathan got a job opportunity working for Polaris, and so we went down there so that he could, you know, see how it would go and see if we maybe wanted to move down there together. And it didn't work out, so we moved back.
And then where did you work?
I came back to IHOP as soon as I came back. I got my job back.
And what happened to the job in Iowa?
She didn't like it over there, so I decided to move back.
Because she didn't like it?
Yeah.
Well, tell me about that conversation. You had a job there?
Yeah, I was working at Polaris. We were there in July of last year, and then in October, the end of October, she told me that she didn't like it because she didn't have a good job, and I was making pretty good money, and she got upset about it, and so she...
Okay. Is that why you moved back?
Yeah, I didn't
have... That's either a yes or a no.
Yes, I did.
So he's told me an accurate story. Now, this is what the case is about. You each have lots of things that you think that the other owes the other. You claim he destroyed your property. He says you destroyed his property. You say you didn't get all your property back from his mother, that she didn't give you back all the stuff that was in storage. They say you never paid any rent, that you never paid back loans. It all sounds like a lot of hogwash to me, so I'm going to give you all about 3 minutes to tell me your side of the story, but I will direct the questions. First of all, the day you separated, what month, day, and year was that?
It was, I'd say, March 12th, approximately.
Is that correct?
No, it was actually Easter, March 28th.
Does that sound right?
I think it was a little bit before that.
No,
I
it
think
was
the
2
date
days.
I had
It was
is
2 days
accurate.
before my birthday.
And you're positive?
Yep.
You're not positive?
No, I am. I know exactly
That
when
it was
I left
March
because
12th?
I wanted to leave. Yep.
It was March 12th?
Yep.
Okay. Do we have any sort of police report?
Yep. I actually have 2 of them.
Just a second. Give me the date of the first one.
April 20th.
April 20th.
Yes.
Now I'd like to take a look at it.
Okay.
That's the date of the first one.
Yes.
Well, could you explain to me why, if this happened on March the 12th, that the date of this report was the 20th of April?
That was the report that I had taken to the court because I wanted to have him held responsible for what he did to my property. So
all I want to know is the incident that you described where he cut up your clothes was the date that you separated. That's what you described to me in your complaint, right? He says that that was the same date that you destroyed his Xbox or
PlayStation.
That is not true.
PlayStation.
That's not true.
But what I'm asking you is,
Okay.
if he cut up your clothes March 12th.
No, he cut up my clothes in the beginning of April the beginning of March. The very first time where we had broken up, I found out he was cheating on me. I wanted to leave. He didn't want me to leave. So I had a bag of clothes, and he ripped them out of my hand, threw them on the ground.
Did you stay after that? Or
No,
did you
I
leave?
left after that. I grabbed my bag and I left.
Which I understand.
Yes.
So why did it take you from March 12th, when you left, until April 20th
Because I was scared and they would not let me have my stuff. I was scared of what they were going to do to it. I have text messages. She was threatening to sell my stuff. She was threatening to get rid of it.
Because you wouldn't pay for it.
She was threatening to get rid of it.
Let's talk about the truth.
And I was scared of him. It wasn't once I left.
Listen to me. You weren't scared of him at all. No. And listen to me. Don't shout out.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
Well, I know you didn't mean to. If you do it again, I'm going to throw you out.
Okay. Sorry.
You weren't scared of him at all.
I was very scared. Lots of people are. He has police reports against him and his father.
You just told me, not really. You want me to play back the tape? You left on March 12th.
Because he was very convincing at trying to make me think differently. He was very convincing.
Listen, I don't go for dramatics. Where did you go when you left on March 12th?
I went to my friend's house and I stayed there for a week.
And then where did you go?
And then I went to my parents' house and I
So you went to a friend's house for a week?
Yes.
Totally separate?
Yep.
And then, not yep, yes is the answer.
Yes, ma'am.
And then after a week, did you tell your mother where you were?
She knew where I was.
Don't tell me what she knew. I asked you a question. I said, when you left the Hofstadter house, did you tell your mother that you were going to a friend's house?
Yes, I did.
And what was the friend's name where she was staying?
Mariah.
Okay. And you were happy with that?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't say to her, come home?
No.
Why?
Because she's an adult and lives on her own.
What kind of a response is that from a parent? She calls you and tells you she's in an abusive relationship, which is what she tells the police a month and a half later. Okay? Domestic abuse. So she tells you that she's left an abusive relationship, and you say to her, you can't come home, you're an adult?
I never told her she couldn't come home.
I didn't
I didn't speak.
She did not want to move home
I was embarrassed.
with her parents.
I was embarrassed. And even if I didn't report it, I still feel like I should not be held responsible for the things of mine that he ruined. I don't at all.
Listen to me. I don't mind you coming and saying to a court, we broke up, we had a nasty breakup, he cut up my clothes, I did a little damage too, but now they have things that they haven't returned to me. This is the list of things that I have. I don't mind that. That's reasonable. Making up a lot of baloney is not.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
In the 2.5 years that you lived with him, in his parents' house for a year, in Iowa where he had a job, all of these things don't suggest to me somebody who should be going in to report domestic abuse because they want their property back.
And later today.
Did you write her name?
Yes, I did.
You forged her name?
As she requested, yes, I did, ma'am.
All right, it was on its face. You forged her name and wrote the check payable to your account.
Yes, ma'am.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Cassandra Weber says ex-boyfriend owe for destruction of property and the return of belongings. The defendants are countersuing for rent, storage fees, money loaned, and an assault.
Now, you lived with him for 2.5 years, and the 2.5 years that you lived with him in his parents' house for a year, in Iowa where he had a job, and you didn't like it, so he moved back, which you acknowledged before. All of these things don't suggest to me somebody who should be going into the police station to report domestic abuse because they want their property back. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, but I was scared. The whole time, he didn't show all of these crazy things that he was doing. It happened when we broke up. I got some of my stuff that day in April. She was throwing it out on the porch. I grabbed what I could because that was not allowed in the house. I called the cops and this police report because I wanted my things.
What date is that police report?
I believe actually that is the one that you have.
That's 6 weeks late. That's from March 12th to April 20th. Where were you?
I was dealing with the trauma that I went through. I didn't know what to do. What do you do?
Just a second. Do you have any property that belongs to her?
No, there is none.
Just a second. There was a storage unit at some point. Did there come a time when what date did you go to the storage unit?
On April 20th.
Did you meet Miss Hofstadter at the storage unit?
I did, yes.
Did Miss Hofstadter open the storage unit?
Yes, she did.
Did you remove any property?
I did. And ma'am, if I may, I'm not really concerned about the storage unit. I did get most of my belongings out of there, but I have text messages from her stating that things that were still in the storage unit, and then I have text messages of her admitting what is still at her house that belongs to me.
Just a second. Okay. I would like to see a text message of her admitting that she has property of yours in her house.
Okay.
Miss Hofstadter, listen to me, be very careful.
I will.
Do you have any property that belongs to the plaintiff in your house?
I got it.
None in my house.
Don't play games
I'm
in
not
your
playing
garage, in a shed, in a basement. You have stuff.
Some underwear, some socks. I got a pair of yoga pants. But what she's claiming that we have is her baseball glove, her Uggs.
Baseball shoes?
Yep, Nikes.
A mitt and Uggs? Is that what you're claiming?
Yes.
Do you have it?
No, ma'am.
They don't have it. Now, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to tell me.
Ma'am, if I may say something, I didn't get to tell you about the damage to my car. I have estimates.
Just a second.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we...
So far, I'm unimpressed with you. I meant
she never asked. There was 11 people living in that house at one point.
That's right,
Did
there
they
was,
pay rent?
Cassandra.
Did they pay rent?
Don't.
They didn't pay rent.
Just a second.
You never asked. Did he pay rent?
Listen to me. You lived there as an adult. Don't answer me back. You didn't pay any rent, and this whole geschichte of what was in a storage unit, was in the house, the three things that you're wasting my time with are a baseball bat.
That's not what's important to me. What's important to me is my car.
Well, then why don't you just say it's my car?
That's what I was trying to...
It was started with a whole bunch of other things.
I would rather have started with this.
With a police report that says domestic abuse.
Well, this is domestic abuse, what he did to my car. I have estimates for just to replace the damage to my car. It's almost $3,000.
With all of you. This case is over. We're done.
Ma'am, what about him being held responsible for his damage?
Why is that excused? You may step out.
She's upset that we broke up.
I hope one day he's held responsible for the things that he did to me.
Don't ever get with a blonde with blue eyes. You won't have an issue.
I hope that every girl out there does know what they deserve and that they don't give somebody like him the chance.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter, Francisco versus Veta. Step forward.
Megan Francisco is suing her former friend, Elizabeth Vetter, for false check.
Miss Francisco, you and the defendant were friends, and based upon what I read, you were also in the military together. That's
Yes,
how you
ma'am.
met. When you were no longer in the military, you became roommates.
Yes.
And while you were roommates, you had to go to jail for a period of time for what?
DWI, ma'am.
Now, at that time, you were roommates.
Yes, ma'am.
And according to you, Miss Vader told you that while she was going to be in jail, you should take her disability check. You were getting disability for some reason?
Yes, I hurt myself at work, so I was waiting on a disability check.
And used that disability check to pay her portion of the rent.
Yes, ma'am.
According to you, you did that, and then you gave the rest of the money to her when she was released.
Yep.
Then what happened, Miss Vader is released from jail, and she's going over her finances, and she sees that she's missing a disability check. She contacts her employer, who contacts disability, and says that the check was cashed by you. So she notified your bank that it was a fraudulent transfer of money, and they removed the money from your bank. So your lawsuit against her is for falsely reporting that you had fraudulently cashed a check. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You paid September's rent and you paid October.
Yes, I did, ma'am, and Stephen Brooks was a witness.
He actually wasn't.
I'm glad he wasn't a witness to giving you the $1,000. I don't believe a word you said.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Megan Francisco says former friend Elizabeth Vetter falsely accused her of illegally depositing a check.
On what date did you receive this check?
I deposited the bank into my account on 7/13/2015. I have the evidence here.
Who endorsed the check?
I wrote paid to the order of and wrote my name, and then...
No, did you write her name?
Yes, I did.
So you forged her name?
As she requested, yes, I did, ma'am. My witness, my friend Stephen Brooks, was there when I had the call from her when she was in jail, telling me to cash the check.
Well, it was on its face. You forged her name and wrote the check payable to your account.
Yes, ma'am.
On what date did you go to jail?
I was arrested on, I believe it was the July 10th.
Had you paid July's rent?
No, and my rent was due on the 10th, and I was waiting on this check. It was supposed to come the next day.
And on what day were you released from jail?
The July 14th, ma'am.
Were you sober when you were arrested?
No, ma'am.
When did you sober up?
Probably the moment I got to the jail.
Now, when you called Miss Francisco, what...
I actually didn't call Miss Francisco. I called another friend of mine that I actually had the number of. And I said, hey, will you let her know that I'm in jail? I'm going to be here I don't recall saying have her cash my check. That wasn't something that I recall saying, but I just had my friend tell her that I was in jail so that I couldn't.
Well, how was she supposed to cover your part of the rent, and how much was your part of the rent?
I think it was like $400.
When you got out of jail on the 14th, where did you go to live?
I went back to where I was living with Megan.
Until when?
I moved out November 1st.
Okay, so you lived there July and August and September. I would like to see proof that you paid July's rent, August's rent, September, and October's rent. Do you understand what I just said?
I do understand.
I want to see proof that you paid July's, because what this case is about is she said she paid your part of July's rent because you couldn't pay it because you were in jail, and she paid it out of this check, which you authorized her to cash. Now, if that's not the case, then the first thing you would have done when you came out is paid July's rent.
Correct.
Proof.
Since we were friends, we didn't, unless she kept record. I just gave her money when I had rent, and it wasn't like we made receipts. It was, we were friends. So.
No. Now July's rent was due, so you had to have a conversation with her about July's rent.
I didn't, because she had paid it with the disability check.
Then you knew she paid it with the disability check.
But it wasn't $1,400.
How much was it?
$400.
And how much was the disability check?
$1,400.
Fine. So now we're talking about $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
So now you agree that it was your understanding that she paid your rent from the disability check for July.
Yes, ma'am.
Something that you didn't acknowledge in your answer.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, if you acknowledge that she paid from your disability check that she had to have cashed.
But illegally.
My question to you is, why did you continue to live with her? Since you knew she cashed the check in July, you knew she paid the rent in July, you knew the check was for $1,400 in July, right? You continued to live with her in August. Did you pay August's rent?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't say to her, well, eat up the check. You paid September's rent?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and you paid October's rent.
Yes, ma'am.
Even though you thought that she stole $1,000 from you?
So if I told her to go rob a bank and she did it, it would be okay?
Did you return the $1,000 to her?
Yes, I did, ma'am, and Stephen Brooks is a witness.
He actually wasn't.
Well, I'm glad he wasn't a witness to her giving you the $1,000. I don't believe a word you said.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It was pretty much open and shut, so I'm pleased with it.
She illegally signed and cashed my check and cashed it and acted like it was no big deal.
I told her she was going to do all this.
If the tables were turned, she would have pressed charges right away.
The judge she just blasted her right on national television.
Because they need money for more important things.
Never again.
Money is the root of all evil.
You had a 22-year-old daughter who already made a few mistakes.
A new beginning for this single mom.
It seemed like a nice young man who said to you, I will take the responsibility of your daughter, and I will be a father to this 2-year-old. And you said, yes!
It's like you were there.
Then they both slipped up.
She is carried. You are correct, ma'am. However.
Not a however.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
23-year-old Emily Austin is suing her ex-boyfriend, 22-year-old Nicholas Harden, for the trade-in value of a car.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 614 on the calendar in the matter of Austin versus Harden.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
My goodness. Miss Austin, you and Mr. Harden were in a relationship, and for some reason, your father let Mr. Harden move in to his house where you were living.
Yes.
When and why?
We moved in after we started dating in 2012.
Were you living at home?
Yes, with my parents.
And for some reason, they thought that it was a good idea for him to move into your house.
Yes.
I have a 2-year-old son at the time, and we moved in there, and then we were going to get our own place.
2-year-old son, is he the father of that child?
No, but he said he would take that role.
So they allowed him to move in?
Yes.
And to assume the parental role for your toddler?
Yes.
How old?
22.
Did there come a time when you left your parents' home?
Yes, after we found out that I was pregnant with his daughter, we moved into our own house on June 15th, and then he went out of town for work, and he came back and took the keys to the Jeep in the house and broke up with me.
So you had been a couple for 3 years?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. This is what the lawsuit is about. At some point during the relationship, you want to tell me the month and year that you traded in your car?
June 29th of 2015.
So you traded in your car as a down payment for a new car?
For him to get a 2015 Toyota Tundra.
Great. That's what you were doing as a family?
Yes.
And then it didn't work out. So you were driving his car?
Yes.
And he was driving the new car?
Yes.
And then he left?
Yes.
Now, both cars are now in his name?
Yes.
Because he's making the payments on the Tundra?
Yes.
Who was making payments on the Tundra?
I gave it back to Toyota.
You were making payments on it?
Yes.
For how long?
A little over a month.
So you kept the car for a month?
Yes.
And then you gave it back to them?
Yes.
How much do you still owe on it?
Oh, $6,637.
Do you have any proof that you still owe $6,630? I'd like to see it. And you're driving the Jeep?
Yes.
So he owes $6,637.32 to Toyota Motor Credit Corp. That's what he owes, because he doesn't have that car anymore.
Right.
And you used your car as the down payment for this car.
Yes.
And they gave you a credit on that car of $5,000.
Yes.
What kind of car did you trade in?
I had a 2004 Honda Pilot.
Bird, would you look up the value of the 2004 Honda Pilot?
LX or EX?
EXL.
6,600.
Practically the same thing as what he owes for the mistake. So what you think is fair, Ms. Austin, is to burden him not only with the $6,600 that he has to pay back to Toyota Motor Corp, but another $5,000 that was used for the trade-in.
Yes.
It's not going to happen.
I traded my car in the hopes of getting another car. I didn't trade my car in for nothing.
Well, you did.
And now I have 2 children and no car.
Well, that's what you should have done. If you wanted to trade in your car, and the idea was that you would trade in your car, and it was going to be your car, and you were going to take the financial responsibility of paying for that car, using your car as a trade-in.
He wasn't letting me work.
What do you mean he wasn't letting you work?
He said that he would make the payment.
That's your choice. If what your intention was to trade in your car and for you to assume the financial responsibility of paying for it because you're 22 years old, you're both the same age, you look perfectly able-bodied, you've already had 2 children, I assume you weren't married the first time either.
No.
Then what you should do is keep busy. Get a job. That will keep you busy. But you can't expect, in all fairness, any court to say, well, not only are you stuck with this debt, but she wants to get a new car.
I just want back what was mine.
You can't get it. It's gone. He would like the $6,000. This was all traded in so that everybody would have a safer, I assume, a safer car to ride. And you were riding around in a 12-year-old car.
It ran. And now I have proof that he gave me the Jeep and then he took it back.
He can't give you the Jeep unless you have the title. Do you have the title? Did
No,
he turn the title
he was
over to
making
you?
payments on it.
You have no case, Miss Austin. There's no legal theory upon which I'm going to award you $5,000.
May I say something?
Sure.
What Mr. Harden did, he had convinced her that she should trade in her vehicle. Initially, he was going to get her a new vehicle. It was his coercement that she trade in her vehicle. He is going to buy a new car for her and make the payments for her since she's carrying his child.
Mr. Austin.
Yes, ma'am.
Your first mistake was to let him move in. And I understand, and I've been in the family court business a very long time. You had a daughter who was unmarried and had a child, and it seemed like a nice young man who said to you, I will take the responsibility of your daughter, and I will be a father to this 2-year-old. And you said, yes!
It's like you were there.
That's exactly what happened. So you let him move in, and you didn't say to your daughter, listen, next time, before this happens again, think with your brain. Make yourself an independent person, not having somebody else take care of you. Take care of yourself.
Yes,
Nobody forces somebody not to work. Somebody who doesn't want to work is easily coaxed not into working. And nobody can convince you. You seem like a pretty straightforward guy. You had a 22-year-old daughter who already made a few mistakes. So then you say to her, you're not trading in that car. That car is a running car. If you trade in that car, you have to know if you let him buy a car and it's in his name, you're not married, you have no contract, the title is in his name, you have no car anymore.
You're absolutely right, Your Honor.
Absolutely correct. And he's the same age, not a however. Not a however. He, just like your daughter would be if she now had to go and buy a new car and put down a down payment and make payments, he has to deal with $6,600 that he owes as a needing a car. She wants a car. She has no job, but she should have a car.
You are correct, ma'am. However, he did not, neither one of them actually had informed me that they were going to do this, and it wasn't until after the fact that they had traded in this vehicle. She traded in her paid-for car. Originally, they were going to get a vehicle for her. He saw a very shiny new pickup, which he chose to get.
Listen, you weren't there, you don't know. You're hearing from your daughter what transpired. I'm telling you, there isn't a legal theory upon which she can saddle him with an additional $5,000 worth of debt. They were two stupid people who made a baby, and he's got a debt of $6,000. And if she wants to buy a new car, she's going to have to get a job and save up $6,000 and buy a car. They will then each have a debt for $6,000. He doesn't have two cars. He only has one car.
He had two vehicles.
Goodbye, sir. You know exactly what I'm saying. We're done here.
Party to excuse you may step out.
He left me when I was pregnant and took my car, and now I have two kids.
I got text messages of her, like, trying to cheat on me and everything, so therefore I left.
A job, and they want me to pay for my own car.
It's kind of been bad because I feel that they use that against me.
When I'm still paying for child support or daycare.
To keep me from my daughter. So,
and going to work and gas and finding a car is not going to be easy.
Hopefully, now that's over, I
want a role model like him in her life.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hackman versus McBroom. Step forward.
Randy Hackman is suing his former neighbor, Corey McBroom, for the unpaid balance of a custom-built kitchen island.
Mr. Hackman, you sold Mr. McBroom a custom center island for a kitchen.
Yes, ma'am.
You sold it because you were moving out of your apartment?
Yes.
When was that?
September 2013.
And Mr. Broom was moving into your apartment or an apartment in the building?
An apartment in the building, ma'am.
Had you known him before September of 2013?
For a bit, yes.
How?
Well, the apartment we lived in, I worked for the property manager for that building. He was also putting his salon into the commercial spaces that were in there. So we had worked together building out his new salon space in that building.
Is that what you are?
Yes.
So you knew him from business?
A bit, yes.
Okay, so I want to know, if you're a contractor and you helped him build out his salon, how were you compensated?
I was under the employee of a different company, the property management company at that time.
So was the property management who built his salon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Now, you sold him this center island for how much?
$2,000.
So far, that is correct, Mr. McBroom.
No.
Well, you say it's correct. You said it's correct that you purchased his center island for $2,000.
It's incorrect because the amount was never solid. We talked about an amount between $1,800 to his retail value once the product was finished. Around, I believe,
the product was finished when you got it.
It was around $2,500 upon it being finished.
I purchased the kitchen island for $2,000. That's the first line of your answer. Want to see it?
No, I know it. I believe that.
Show it to him. Thank you. Read the first line of your sworn answer.
I purchased the kitchen island for $2,000.
That's what it said. So you want to tell me where you were mistaken? You were mistaken in your sworn answer, or you're mistaken in your sworn testimony?
There needed to be a number put down, and so there was never a number that was...
No, I'm just asking you. I asked you a question. Stop double-talking me.
Yes.
I know that where do you come from, Missouri?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been to California before?
I have.
You have, and you liked it here.
It's good.
And you thought it would be a nice thing to come back again and to do this little program.
Suppose.
You suppose?
That's good.
Okay, so now there's a price that comes with that for your free trip and your hotel room.
Right.
You know what that price is?
Being honest?
Yes. Because if you're coming here to play with me, I'll put you back on the plane to Missouri.
Absolutely.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So at that point, there was not a barter agreement in place.
The barter agreement happened, there was never a set time when payments were necessarily due or made.
You're going to step all over your tie and going to get very dry in the mouth.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Randy Hackman says his former neighbor, Corey McBroom, owes for the balance of a custom-built kitchen island.
So my question is, were you lying or not being honest when you testified a moment ago or when you signed the sworn answer?
$2,000.
Better. Now, how much did you pay him in dollars? How much did you pay him in the currency of the United States of America, in currency?
Cash deposit initially when he moved the
Of
island.
how much?
$300.
And after that?
PayPal electronic transfer from credit and debit was $420.
Anything else?
Haircut services to...
No. In cash, not
cash?
wampum,
No.
not
That's the
barter, cash money.
That is all the cash.
So, $720 is what you paid on the $2,000 item. And what your defense is that Mr. Hackman agreed to take the rest out in barter for haircuts.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that's what you do for a living,
Yes, ma'am.
haircuts. Okay.
That was
Mr.
not...
cuts his hair. Are you talking about Mr. Hackman's haircuts? I could cut Mr. Hackman's hair. Whose haircut?
His.
His?
His and his multiple girlfriends.
Okay, great, fine. So, and I assume you kept a ledger on that.
I have a ledger of his haircuts.
Just a second. The answer is either yes or no, so you kept a ledger of his.
Yes.
Okay. How many haircuts did you give Mr. Hackman?
I have documented 9.
And how many do you have documented for his girlfriends?
I don't have his documented. I did bring a witness that did the hair.
How many does the witness have documented from an appointment book, from a ledger? How many?
None documented.
Then I'm not interested. So we have 9 haircuts. And what you're saying is that those 9 haircuts equal $1,240.
The haircuts, I have 9 haircuts documented from him, equals $540. And then I have the PayPal, $375, cash deposit,
No,
$300.
just a second. You just told me $420 and $300. That's $720.
For his haircuts.
No, you said that you paid him in cash $720 from PayPal
Okay.
accounts.
Yes.
And the cash deposit, which was $720. He's not suing for $2,000. He's suing for $1,240. What you're suggesting is the 9 haircuts that you did for him, you did, and the equivalent of that was the remainder of what you owed him was $1,240. Discussion with Mr. Hackman that transferred the issue of the money that was owed, cash money, U.S. currency, to barter. Tell me about that.
That happened...
You started paying him back, and when was the last day you gave him a cash payment or a PayPal payment?
It would have been the end of last year, less than 6 months.
What's the date? You have it. You
yes, I
must
do.
have it down.
I do. 8/15/2015.
Okay, it was when you gave him, just a second, when you gave him money.
Yes.
So at that point in August of 2015,
Yes.
there was not a barter agreement in place.
The barter agreement happened every once in a while whenever he needed a haircut. And then what we would do is there was never a set time when payments were necessarily due or made.
You're going to step all over your tie and going to get very dry in the mouth.
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Well, you only have 5 here.
I should have 9.
Men's haircut and style?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Randy Hackman says his former neighbor, Corey McBroom, owes for the balance of a custom-built kitchen island.
Now, of 2015, you had an agreement with Mr. Hackman that you were going to deduct what you owed him from haircuts that you gave him.
Yes.
Tell me when that conversation took place.
Earlier that year. And definitely
Earlier in 2015.
2015. And initially when we first agreed that I was purchasing the island as well.
Is that correct, sir?
It was earlier than that, but his numbers are way incorrect, Your Honor.
You had, however, discussed with him barter.
Yes.
And how much were you attributing to each of your 9 haircuts?
Well, there was only 6 haircuts, Your Honor, and 1 additional for a girlfriend at the time. Each haircut he charges a retail value of $35 for.
That's incorrect.
And I took $60, the full monthly payment, off for each haircut. So he was making boon off of that as well.
Okay, so first thing I'd like to see is the ledger register of 9 haircuts. Is this the book that you use, sir, or is this something that you prepared for me today?
That is the book that I did use at the time, and so what I can do is pull up a specific client's list of appointments.
Well, you only have 5 here.
I should have 9. 5?
Men's haircut and style?
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Uh-huh.
Nothing. So, if I were to call your salon now, is it open or closed?
It's by appointment, so it is available upon request.
What does that mean?
By appointment only. So there's no standing, there's no
What's
receptionist necessarily. All my clients directly contact me.
Is there a physical space in your salon? You have a physical space. How many people work in your salon?
3.
You're 1, you're 2. Who's the 3rd?
His name's Grant. He's another stylist that we work with.
And he doesn't come into the salon?
He does.
So he may be there now?
I don't believe... He might.
He might. Okay. So if I had somebody call and say, I want a men's haircut and style, how much would I be advised that that would be?
For just a men's haircut, 45.
Okay.
That's for a short haircut, though, Your Honor. Mr. Hackman, he likes his hair long, so I charge him a women's price at 60.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You paid him $720, and according to both of you, you agreed to barter haircuts. He says he had 7. You have, it was 45 from a man, but I charge him for a woman's haircut.
Yes.
I'm giving you credit for $45 for the 5 haircuts that you can prove, which is $225. $225. That's 5, that's 4, that's 9. $945.
I never received $700 or whatever he's saying in cash from him.
Well, you're not suing him, sir, for $2,000. You're suing him
Right,
for $1,240.
no, but if you're adding that up to get to the $1,240 and he's got extraneous numbers in there, that's going to change that amount.
Your Honor, what I
Judgment,
show...
judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $1,055. We're done. Thank you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It just took too long. It was 2 years. It was supposed to be a quick 6-8 months.
It was a very casual thing. It was a bar island. I was doing it as a favor, really.
And then online, I saw that he and his boyfriend took a trip to French Polynesia.
And to help him out. I have the bar. He's got some extra dough. Good for him.
He was building out a new salon. If he can afford those, he can afford to pay me $1,200.
And, you know, hopefully we can move past it. I gave it the whole shebang, so that's that.
Everything's got to be written from now on and documented numerous times.
Randy's a good guy. I don't want to hold anything against him on it. This case was always up, and it was very casual.
A house party rental goes down the drain.
He presented us with 2 toilets and an outside urinal pit. Ended up having 1 bathroom, no explanation of any other bathroom.
This is going to be some case to air.
Then an even more disgusting surprise.
You were telling the young women who were using the one working toilet they couldn't flush paper down the toilet?
For all parties, that's the rule.
That can't be the rule.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Michael Lilu is suing Leo Jiang for breach of contract regarding the renting of his house for a party.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 72, Your Honor, in the matter of Leilu versus Jiang.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Your son wanted to have his 21st birthday party, Mr. Lilu. You told him, that's nice. Not in my house. Find a venue.
Correct.
You live in a house?
Yes.
But you said, not in my house. You couldn't have your 25 friends someplace else.
It's a condominium.
I don't care what it is. He didn't want his 25 friends there. But found the defendant. Your last name?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you have a house that you must hate because you agreed to rent the house to Mr. Lilu's son, who was celebrating his 21st birthday. Why you would do that, I don't know. In any event, what your claim is, sir, is that the house was so substandard for the party. Some things which actually Mr. Jiang doesn't deny, that you want your money back.
Well, it's a...
Is that what your claim is? I just want to know.
It's a breach of contract.
Is that what your claim is?
Yes. Well, I have to explain, though.
Well, you don't have to explain. I read your complaint. They got there for the party, and you had problems with your plumbing. You want to describe the problems you had with your plumbing?
Not the problem that was incurred by Mr. Lulu.
No, I'm talking about before his party.
I have had 12 parties with...
You told me with 300 people and 2 bathrooms.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do a party with 300 people and 2 bathrooms, Mr. Jang. I don't know unless you get porta potties. Now, if you hire porta potties, then you can have a party for 300 people. Because I read you have parties for 300 people, and for that, you have 2 bathrooms.
Yes.
And on the day of his son's birthday party, no matter what kind of slobs they were, am I correct, am I reading right, that you were telling the young women who flush paper down the toilet that they should take the paper outside?
In the covered trash bag, yes.
That's ridiculous.
Well, you have 100 people who throw... I can't have that. People throwing paper
they
down.
Weren't 100 people.
Yeah, well, for all parties, that's the rule.
No, listen to me. That can't be the rule. You show me, and then I will dismiss the plaintiff's case. You show me in your contract where it says that people, when they use the bathroom, can't dispose of used toilet paper. This is going to be some case to air, by the way. You got to play this one during sweeps. In the toilet. Show me anywhere in your contract that it says that.
I verbally told...
I don't care what you verbally said. Did you have a written contract?
I have a written contract.
I'd like to see it. And I'd like to see in the written contract anywhere. Let me see the written contract. I want to see if you say we are supplying 2 bathrooms, but you cannot dispose of any waste paper in the bathrooms, in the toilet. I want to see where you say that. It's ridiculous.
Well, here's the contract.
Yeah, sure it is.
Here's the same one.
Right here.
Bert, I'll take a look at both.
Right here, right here. There.
Okay. Here's the original one he signed and I signed.
Speak not. I don't see anything here about toilet paper.
The paper on the toilet,
Yeah,
the picture of the toilet, it says a sign. No paper in...
I see what it says on the sign. I'm looking at the contract. I don't care what the sign says. You rented a house, 3-bedroom lodging, checkout time, between 10 and 11 o'clock on April 17th. This party was for the 16th. How many working toilets did you have in this house? How many working toilets did you have? That would be 1.
For him, yes.
That would be 1 for all the guests and the overnight lodging. And then this 1 toilet, you weren't allowed to flush paper. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you had your party, right?
Yes.
How many people did you have?
22.
Fine. Not 300 like you always have there. Anything else you want to tell me?
Quickly, I'll say how it began was when we first went and saw the place. He presented us with 2 toilets and an outside urinal pit that he wanted the men to use, which of course we refused. He showed us a women's bathroom, showed us the other bathroom, showed us the outdoor refrigerator that would be cleaned and working. Ended up having 1 bathroom, no explanation of any other bathroom, no refrigerator. Allowed us to put the cake in his personal refrigerator.
How does he have a personal refrigerator?
Well, he lives in the house. The party was out in the backyard. It was not in the house. It was in the backyard, okay? I have a picture of kind of the backyard.
So you were just renting the backyard?
Pretty much.
Well, what about the 3 overnight lodging? Where were they supposed to sleep?
My son has friends that live 140 miles north. We thought maybe they would need lodging. So what we did was I paid him in advance for lodging with the understanding if we didn't need it, we would tell him in advance. We rented it on a Wednesday. The next Monday, I called them, said we will not need the lodging. The day before the party, we arrived, my wife, son, and I, did a pre-inspection. He returned $100 of the $150 for the lodging at that time, saying that's all the money he had. The next day we showed up. There's all of a sudden just 1 bathroom and no refrigerator. We weren't going to confront it.
There was no refrigerator, but you have a refrigerator.
The refrigerator is not relevant to the case.
I'm asking you a question. It's relevant if I ask the question. Anything I ask is relevant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are there 2 refrigerators in that premises?
Yes, Your Honor.
1 belongs to you.
Right.
That you use for your family.
Yes, a big one.
Where is the second one?
Right outside.
Outside
in
where?
the backyard.
In the backyard.
Well, it was working.
Just a second. Either it's working or it's not working. There's nothing, a well.
It is working, but he perhaps did not find it clean enough for his satisfaction, so I offered him my
Clean enough
refrigerator.
his satisfaction means what, sir?
To put his cake.
Clean enough. What does that mean? Was it filthy?
No, it was not. We cleaned it with bleach and all. It was maybe not as good as my house refrigerator.
Let me tell you
looked.
something else.
Perhaps that.
Mr. Jang, let me explain something to you, sir. If that refrigerator was bleachy clean and cold, like a refrigerator is supposed to be cold, these two men, this 21-year-old, would not have asked to put the cake someplace else. I don't even care about the refrigerator as much as I care about the non-working toilets. Outrageous. Now, stand up next to your father. Did you go through the whole house when you went there to look at it?
We walked through the house, but we weren't using that part of the house. But he did have a exit towards the backyard, or kind of like a, I don't know, like a, what do you call it?
Yeah, we walked through the parts of the house that he showed us, actually.
Yeah. Did you see the bathrooms?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
You saw the bathrooms. How many bathrooms did he show you?
The two inside the house and the one...
Did you tell him you would be using the pit?
No.
Now, the two bathrooms that you saw inside, did any of them have signs in them?
Not that I recall.
When he showed you the house?
Correct.
You didn't see a sign that said, do not throw any toilet paper down here?
No.
No. Sounds like a pretty disgusting party to me. Did your friends stay?
They did. I'm not going to lie, we had a good time for a while, but
Fine.
then...
Fine. Yeah. Well, there's no question in my mind, Mr. Jung, that you have to be penalized for not providing what you were supposed to provide, which were two working, functioning bathrooms. You actually provided not even one for 25 guests. So you have to refund some of their money. I just have to figure out how much.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your counterclaim is that despite the fact that you had signs all over the place, the young women who went to use the bathroom did in fact throw paper down the toilet. And as a result of that, you had substantial damage to your pipes. That's too bad. Fix your pipes.
And later today...
As soon as he gets his car back, you'll get your money. Do you understand?
But I already put money on the car. Because...
Too bad. That's too bad.
Why, Your Honor?
Just because I told you that's too bad.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Michael Lilu says Leo Jang breached their contract. Leo is countersuing for damages caused to his home.
Now, how much money did they give you in total?
He gave me a $750.
Okay, so I'm going to return to him $350 of his $750, and you have a counterclaim. Your counterclaim is that despite the fact that you had signs all over the place, the young women who went to use the bathroom, the one functioning bathroom, did in fact throw paper down the toilet. And as a result of that, you had substantial damage to your pipes. That's too bad. Don't rent your backyard out anymore. Fix your pipes. That's what a toilet is supposed to do, except toilet paper. Do you have other bathrooms in your house? How many bathrooms does your house have? 2 only. Well, I would save some of this money from the... How many other parties have you said you had in your house?
Right here.
Just a second. Just tell me. How many other parties?
12.
12 other
it's right
parties.
Here, document.
What I would do, sir, is save some of that money and improve the plumbing in my house. That's what I would do. Save some of... Who is this?
This is my property manager who managed all the cleanup and with plumbing cleanup.
How many properties do you have?
1.
So she's your property manager and she manages just your one property that you live in?
Yes.
He's a busy man, Your
Goodbye.
Honor.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of 3.
May step out.
I believe it was fair.
I'm disappointed.
I had friends come to me and say, where are we supposed to use the bathroom if this one is not available?
Who would want everybody to put all papers in the toilet?
I think I did have a good time, yeah.
They caused us to basically shut down operations.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Corrales versus Prado, step forward.
Diana Corrales is suing Roberto Prado for repair costs and storage fees for a car he sold her.
Ms. Corrales, you bought a car from Mr. Prado.
Correct.
What kind of car?
It's a 2005 Volvo S80, all-wheel drive.
On what date did you purchase the car?
On April 5th, 2016.
How long had you had the car, Mr. Prado?
I've been having that car for almost 2.5 years now.
Where did you buy it?
I bought it at an auction.
Did you drive it or did someone else in your home drive it?
My wife, ex-wife. It was her car.
When were you divorced?
November.
Of this past year?
Correct.
How come you ended up with the car?
It was registered under my name. She didn't want the car. At that point, I had bought her a new car. On July 2015, I also bought a brand new car from the dealer. And ever since that day, the car wasn't driven until I finally posted for sale. My dad wanted me. So it's been sitting there for almost a year now. That's when I finally posted for sale.
So the car had not been driven in a year?
Correct, ma'am.
Because it wasn't registered?
Yes, the license plate expired on June 2015.
So it hadn't been driven?
No, it hasn't been driven since that day.
Did you try to get the car smogged?
No, I sold the car as is.
No, before it was sitting in your dad's backyard. Did you
prior to that, I did have the smog. All the paperwork I also turned, I gave it to Mrs. Corrales. For example, I have taken it to the dealer where I do the oil change. I bought the coils, regular tune-ups. Other than that, the car hasn't been smogged ever since I bought it.
Since you bought it?
Correct.
Why?
Because that wasn't be a car that I was going to use. I bought a brand new car.
No, your wife was using the car. The car hadn't been smogged since you bought it, you said.
No, but it was already registered. When I sold her the car, it didn't have a smog that day.
When you bought the car for your wife's use, had it been smogged?
Yes, I smogged it, yes, of course.
Fine. So the last time you took the car in, when your wife was driving the car, it had been smog tested?
Correct, yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Fine, okay. I'd like to see the bill of sale that you signed with Mr. Prada, because this is the problem. According to you, the car can't be smogged, therefore you... It says, see bill of sale. Where is the bill of sale?
Right there, it's on the second page. The first page is the kind of like the registration. The second page is the bill of sale, and the last page is title. But if you can see on the first page, it says incomplete registration, and it's missing one part. I went to the DMV and to...
No, it says it's a clear title.
It says clear title.
It has clear title.
It couldn't be registered because the smog. The car never got smog.
So?
No, he was saying that he did the smog and all that.
It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You said I invested money in the car. Did you do any other mechanical work on the car?
Yes.
Yes. How much other mechanical work did you do on the car?
It's close to $5,000, Your Honor.
You don't want to give him back the car. You just want your money back.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Diana Corrales says Roberto Prado owes for repair costs and storage fees for a car he sold her. Roberto is countersuing for lost wages and harassment.
Okay, selling a car that hasn't been smogged.
According to the DMV...
Let me see. Not anything that they told you. There's a law. I'll take a look at it because I'm actually not familiar with it in California. Oh, when a car is sold, the seller, that's you, is required to provide the buyer with a valid smog inspection certificate at the time of sale or transfer. Smog certifications are good for 90 days from the date of issuance. Did you furnish her with a valid smog inspection certification?
No, I didn't give her no smog. At the point of sale, when we sold the car, Mrs. Diana Corrales and myself agreed that the car is sold as is, and it's usually on my Craigslist ad. It says sold as is, bring your mechanic.
Well, that's fine. It's sold as is, but it says in the state where you live.
Correct.
You cannot sell a car that hasn't been smogged.
Correct.
So you have to have a valid smog certification. Am I reading that correctly?
That's what it says.
Where's the car?
It's parked in a garage.
Where?
In Chula Vista.
Oh, fine.
I got the list right here.
I don't care what you have right there. This is something, but as soon as he gets his car back, you'll get your money. Do you understand? As soon as the car goes back to him, you'll get your money.
But I already put money on the car because...
Too bad. That's too bad.
Why, Your Honor?
Just because I told you that's too bad. If you couldn't register the car, you shouldn't have put any money into it. You don't expect him to pay for the stuff that you did to the car, plus give you your money back.
I can register the car, and I have 30 days to pass smog.
What I'm telling you is, do you want the car?
Yes.
Then your case is dismissed.
But, Your
If
Honor...
you want the car, then your case is dismissed. Period. End of discussion. If he gets the car back, you get the money. How much did she pay for the car?
$2,100, Your Honor.
Then you get your $2,100 back. If what you're telling me is you don't want to give him the car back.
No, it's not that. I want to, before filing the complaint, I was texting back and forth, and I offered him to give him back the car, and he to give me back my money. He told me that he already invested the money. Then I sued the claim. I had to put the car in a garage because I couldn't register because didn't have plates. Without plates, I couldn't cross it to TJ. So I have to park it somewhere. I couldn't leave it on the street because it will get towed. All was that the catalytic converter was tampered. I didn't know at the time.
Listen, don't tell me a whole big story. I'm not interested in the whole big story.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, I'm prepared to give you your money back
Your Honor,
as soon as he gets the car.
Your Honor, besides the money for the car, there's the money for the parking, and I need that money too.
I'm not giving you the money for the parking.
Why not?
Because I said I'm not giving you the money for you get the money back for the car because that you knew right away. If you took it to register it right away, then you file your complaint, you say I want my money back. You said I invested money in the car. Did you do any other mechanical work on the car?
Yes.
Yes. You did other mechanical work on the car. How much other mechanical work did you do on the car?
It's close to $5,000, Your Honor.
Close to $5,000. Well, he's not giving you. You don't want to give him back the car. You just want your money back. He's not doing that. Your case is dismissed. We're done here. Your counterclaim, too, is done.
No, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next judge...
To the state of California, once you sell the car, you have to provide the smoke certification.
I didn't have no idea about that.
Or, if you don't provide it, you have to pay for the repairs.
As is, it was just to be it should have been just a regular car transaction.
He knew. He couldn't register the car because the smoke.
Hey, get it smoked next time.
If you buy a car, ask for the smoke certification. Otherwise, don't buy it.
Had you discussed taking the children with you to Minneapolis?
Somewhat.
A faltering marriage led to an ultimate decision.
I really didn't believe him that he was going to leave.
And then what happened?
But how far would she go?
I heard some arguing about 10:30 that morning.
To stop him.
And then she came out the house with a big brick in her hand, threw it at the windshield, picked it back up, and threw it again.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Shauna Woodbury is suing her brother, Laird Williams, and his wife, Leah, for damage to her rental car.
Order. All rise.
Yes, case number 4. Welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Miss Woodbury, this is your brother.
Yes.
And this is his wife.
Yes.
And this is the story as I understand it. Your brother and his wife were having some marital difficulties. That is true, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And during that time, your brother asked you to do him a favor. The favor was to rent a car to drive him someplace. Where did you want to go?
I was going to Minneapolis.
From where you were living with your wife.
Right.
And what were you going to do in Minneapolis?
Stay with my brother.
But you wanted to take the children with you.
Yeah, I did.
I'm asking you a question.
I did.
And how many children do you have?
2.
How old are they?
4 and 5 months.
So you asked your sister to rent a car to drive you to Minneapolis with your 2 children.
Right.
Had you discussed taking the children with you to Minneapolis with your wife?
Somewhat.
What do you mean somewhat? What does that mean?
I told her that I would take the kids with me.
And what did she say?
She did not deny it. She didn't say.
No. What did she say? Did she say it was okay? Did she say, I don't want you to take the kids with you?
Well, at the time, we were upset, and she was like, go ahead, take them.
Is that correct?
Yes, because I trust him with our children.
I don't care. Wait, listen. I don't need your editorializing now.
Okay.
If you're my brother in Minneapolis and I'm going to take the 4-year-old and the 5-month-old, I would either say, you're not going to take them, or you're going to take them. Not because you're not. You could take them because he loves his children. Well,
because I really didn't believe him that he was going to leave.
Well, that may be an answer. That may be a legitimate answer. Well, then you show up with your brother in the rental car. This is according to you. And on what date is that?
February 28th.
And what date did you go with your brother to pick up the children?
I didn't go with my brother to pick up the children.
You didn't. Who did?
He went by himself to pick up the children.
Okay. You went by yourself?
No.
Look at me.
No.
Who did you go with?
I mean, I was by myself, but I didn't go pick up the children that day, though.
What, Mr. Williams?
Yes.
On February 28th, you were in the rental car that your sister had rented for you.
Right.
And you went back to the marital home.
Yes.
You never know where I'm going to go, sir. So where you have to go is the truth.
That's what I'm listening.
That's what, so you went back to the marital home.
Right.
And what happened when you got there?
Nothing. I went back there later on that night, so it wasn't.
What time did you go back there?
Late, probably 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
Midnight.
Yeah, somewhere around
Midnight
there.
or 1 o'clock in the morning.
Night. I mean, the next day I ended up back out to their house, and I pretty much decided that I wasn't going up to my brother's because we had talked and everything, so I changed my mind about that.
What do you think you're doing here, Mr. Williams?
I'm here because they're actually trying to sue for damages that they did to the vehicle they sell.
Okay. So your sister is suing you because she said when you went to pick up the children.
Right. I didn't go pick up the children, though.
Yes.
Ma'am, can I talk?
Yeah.
Okay. We rented the vehicle for the rental on February 28th. On March 1st, 2016, he got a call from her stating that he needed to come and pick his kids up because she was upset. Okay, this is what he told me. So my husband, he's in the rental because we let him drive the rental. He goes to the house or whatever, and from my understanding...
Not your understanding.
No, well, from what I know, she came...
Just a second. You can't tell me anything that you didn't see unless your brother, who was a party, told you what happened.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then get to that.
And so he calls my husband, which is right there, Marcus Woodbury. That's my husband. He calls my husband.
You can't tell me. Mr. Woodbury, you want to tell me about the conversation that you had with Mr. Williams on March?
About 10, 11 that morning. He was telling me that, yeah, she went and busted the windows. I had told him prior, don't go down there because they was having problems. And you in this rental, she go do something to it. He decides to go down there because she said, come get the kids or whatever. He goes down there, he calls me, she busted the windows, bro. I calls my wife, texts my wife, tell her what happened, picked her up for work. I called off work.
That's not the truth.
And went down there, he was at his friend's house. We seen the rental, busted all out. Called the police, made the report.
Do you have the police report?
That is not
I'd like
the
to
truth.
see it, please. Can I see an estimate, please, of the damage? Now, when did you and your wife decide to get back together and you not go to Minneapolis?
When I went home that night, on the 28th, the next day, we were together talking and everything. I ended up giving him the vehicle back. So he had possession of the vehicle. He went over to his mom's house and ended up coming to me with the vehicle already damaged.
And how did he tell you it got damaged?
Who?
How did he tell you it got damaged?
He told me when he came to me talking about the car was damaged, I seen it get messed up or something, he was saying. And basically what it was is that since me and her had got back into it again, that's what it was. And it was like...
I don't understand it.
Yes, because she was like... Because me and her had got back...
I have a
witness.
This
was 3 days prior to that.
Right there. I have a
3 days prior to that.
Shh. Who was your witness?
My witness is Sandra Jackson. Ma'am, I don't know this lady from a can of paint. I have never met her before. The reason how I got her as a witness is because I went over there to where they used to stay, and I knocked on several neighbors' doors. And when I got to the 5th neighbor house, before I could get the words white Chevy car or anything out of my mouth, they finished the sentence for me.
Would you stand up, please?
And
sit down. Quiet! Okay, tell me your name.
Sandra Jackson.
How long did you live a few houses away from the Williamses?
Maybe a year and a half to 2 years.
Could you sit down, sir? And were you a witness to anything that happened with Mrs. Williams and this white Chevrolet?
Yes.
Tell me what you observed.
I heard some arguing about 10:30 that morning, and I went to my bedroom window. They were arguing.
Where were they arguing?
Outside of their house. But she was inside of the house at the time.
And where was he? Yelling at each other?
Yes.
From inside the house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was loud. Go ahead.
And then she came out the house with a big brick in her hand. And then I seen her threw it at the windshield, then it bounced on the hood, kind of close to her. Then she picked it back up and threw it again. And that was it.
Can I ask a question? I have the pictures.
I'd like to see them.
Yes, ma'am.
You have the picture, so you trying to tell me she ran out the house with a brick?
I didn't say run.
You said, no, you said she came out the house with a brick.
Don't speak
Who
to her.
got bricks in their house?
Don't speak to her.
Yes.
Don't speak to her.
Sir.
That don't even make sense.
She did.
That makes no sense.
What I see.
Who did you rent the car from?
We rented the car from Enterprise. Now, what I presented to you first, the 542, that's for the damages of the hood with the pictures of the 3 vehicles that's on there. And
I
then,
don't have a bill for 542.
I think I still got that right here. And then the other one, the 219, it might be 540. I can't remember. It's 540 something. It might be 546. But then the 219, that's for the windshield itself.
Balance shown above. 10 days. Okay. So the remaining balance is 542.85
for the hood. There's another paper up there for.
Oh, I got you. One is for 542, one is for 219.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I really can't believe that he told that lie because
I don't.
It doesn't matter. But if you want to
sit, I told you not to speak. I told you not to speak. What part of don't speak don't you understand?
Later today.
Do you think that I'm going to give you $2,300 for a 30-year-old truck that you loaned to your son for the insurance that you paid on it, the registration that you paid on it? That's ridiculous.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Shauna Woodbury says her brother, Laird Williams, and his wife, Leah, owe for vandalism to her rental car.
Go ahead.
I really can't believe that he told that lie, which it doesn't matter to me because it doesn't matter if she's lying or not.
Sit down.
But if you want to
sit,
but if you would like to see, I sent her, Leah, a text message on April 7th. Telling her that she had till April 8th to give me the money for the rental or I'm going to press full charges and it's a felony and she's going to go to jail. She texted me back and said, do what you got to do. Not only did I send a text message to my brother, I said, I don't really care. I'm going to tell you exactly what I said. I don't really care about you dealing with Leah. I'm still slapping the out of her, and she got till tomorrow, which was the 8th, to pay me for the rental or I'm pressing full charges and it's a felony. He said, sis, you do know the courts are not giving me the kids. If she's in jail and her sister don't take them, who will be there staying? I said, okay, so who gonna pay for the rental? They want to garnish Marcus' check, and I'm not having that, my husband.
And what did he say?
And he said, I will make sure she do before that happens. I said, okay. He said, okay, thanks for her sake.
Okay. I told you not to speak. I told you not to speak. What part of don't speak don't you understand?
I haven't spoken.
$761 judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
My brother got me twisted.
She got to get over it.
I do too much for you to lie on me.
I didn't have nothing to do with it.
We're going to get over it.
Blood is thicker than water at the end of the day, but it's okay, though.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Helms versus Helms, step forward.
Catherine Helms is suing her son, Wesley Helms, for the value of a truck, insurance, and maintenance costs.
Mrs. Helms, this is your son. How many children do you have?
2.
How old are they?
He's 28 and his sister's 27.
To your son?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you loan the truck to him?
In March of 2015.
And when did he return it to you?
January 17th, 2016.
So he had the truck for 10 months. That's a long loan. Did you drive the truck?
Prior to him taking it?
Yes.
Yeah, that was my driver constantly.
What did you use after he took it?
I either had to get someone to take me places or borrow.
Well, yeah, I'm not buying all of that you gave away your only car if you were driving it.
Ma'am, that's the only vehicle I had.
Yes.
No, her and her boyfriend have 3 other vehicles, so that wasn't the only vehicle they had to
My
drive.
partner has other vehicles. I do not.
Well, then let's try to be totally straightforward to me. Do you live with someone?
Yes.
And how long have you lived with that person?
Almost 10 years.
So that's a solid relationship.
Yes.
And how many cars does your partner have?
3.
And what kind of cars are they?
He has a 2009 Chevrolet pickup, and he has 2 1987 Samurai Suzukis.
So that the two of you have access to 3 vehicles to get you wherever you want to go without the truck. The two of you have access to 3 vehicles to get you one place or another. So that when you said to me, you have to get other people to take me around, that wasn't actually true.
Yes, ma'am.
You had at home.
Well, one thing is I can't afford the deductible on Dan's pickup.
What do you mean you can't afford the deductible on his pickup?
If I were to have an accident. I'm not on his insurance.
Come on, Mrs. Helms. I'm not buying all this. So give me some ideas. You loaned your son this truck. What year truck was it?
1989 S15 pickup.
So we have a car that's now 30 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
And he had it for 10 months, and he returned it to you 10 months later, and now tell me what you're suing him for.
I am suing him for the maintenance and everything that I had taken care of while he had my truck. Payment on the insurance that I kept on the truck the entire time, the licensing that I took care of, the registration, and the taxes that I'd paid on it while he had it, and then my truck being ruined on the day he brought it back to me.
Your 30-year-old truck was ruined. He drove it from where?
He drove it from Clever, Missouri to Osceola.
And how many hours is that?
Approximately.
About an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. So he drove the truck. He drove this 30-year-old truck back to you. Now, when you got the 30-year-old truck back, Mrs. Holmes, you got it back in January.
Yes.
What did you do with it?
Actually, he picked me up.
What did you do with it? Where is it now?
It's salvaged.
So you got rid of it?
Yes.
When did you get rid of it?
January 17th, approximately a day or two next.
It was sold the next day. Son-in-law, Chet, and my sister have it now. They're...
Stand up. Let's not play with each other. Move over there. You have the use of this 1989 truck?
No.
When did you have use of the 1989 truck? Look at me. Don't look at her. Look at me. When did you have use of the 89 truck?
I never had use of it. It was sold to someone that worked for me.
Who?
A salesman that works in my car lot.
What was the salesman's name?
Rob.
Rob what? And on what date was it sold to him?
I believe the 25th of January.
Your mother-in-law lied when she said she salvaged it, right? Sit.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now, why would you tell me you salvaged it?
Well, because it wasn't drivable.
Nah, we're just tripping over ourselves one trip after another.
Welcome to my life.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Catherine Helms says her son, Wesley Helms, owes for a truck, insurance, and maintenance costs.
Now, why would you tell me you salvaged it?
Well, because it wasn't drivable.
Nah, we're just tripping over ourselves one trip after another.
He told me that he would buy the truck for $200 and he was going to pull the motor out and try and make a race car out of it because the motor was no good.
Do you think that I'm going to give you $2,300 for a 30-year-old truck that you loaned to your son for 10 months for the expenses, the insurance that you paid on it, the registration that you paid on it? Miss Helms, that's ridiculous.
Well, he had offered me $1,000 for it back in November.
You should have taken it.
Well, I was offered $15 if he'd bring the truck home.
You got to know a good deal when you
Just
get
a
one.
second. You should have taken it. If he offered you $1,000, why didn't you take it?
Because
From your son.
Because
Just a second. From your son. If he needed a truck so badly that he was using your 30-year-old truck, when you said to him, bring home my truck, and he said, Mom, I'll give you $1,000 for it, why wouldn't you take that?
Well, Your Honor, I'd been trying to get him to... the truck was supposed to have been home the first 2 weeks of March, but it wasn't.
I don't care.
But after, when he said he says, I'll give you $1,000 for it because I've got a buddy that'll give me $15. Well, my partner, Dan, says, I'll give you $15 for it and get the truck home.
What do you mean your partner?
Dan, the man I live with.
It's her boyfriend.
Your partner said, I'll give you $15.
Yes.
Well, why wouldn't you let your son have it for $1,000?
Because my son has borrowed from me before, so.
Anything you want to tell me?
The truck was, you know, it was in disrepair when I got it. I fixed some things on it. The whole reason.
And you used it for 10 months?
I did.
And you drove it to your mother's house?
Yes, I did.
You didn't tow it to your mother's house. You drove it.
Absolutely not.
You
Yep.
drove it to your
Yes,
mother's
ma'am.
house.
I drove it up on the 17th or whatever she's saying. Then it's an hour and a half from my house, and the heater core was leaking in it, which she's known about it for
Don't
years.
tell me what she knew.
Okay.
You can't tell me what she knew.
Anyway.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
When I got back up there, I picked her up and we took off. And about 30 minutes into
Where did you go to?
We were going to Chet's house for a birthday party for my nephew. And then it popped about 20 miles after that. We just kept putting water in it so it wouldn't overheat, so we could make it to their place.
And did you make it?
We did make it.
And did you make it home?
Yes, but I didn't take the truck home.
So what did you do with the truck?
I left the truck there.
And how many days later did you sell this truck to your buddy who works for you?
It was roughly a week.
And does he still work for you?
Yes.
And does he use the truck to get to and from work?
Disassemble it, all of the parts that are bad now.
Okay, so he's working on it.
Yes.
And so you sold it to him, and I assume that if he works in the car business, he knew his business. How much did he pay for the car?
He paid her $200 for the car.
Do we have anything else?
It was just time to go back to the car, guys.
Do we have anything else? Good. We're done. Your case is dismissed.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I have tried so hard, and I have given him things and done without.
You know, there's always two sides to every story.
He knows that is the only thing that I own other than my clothing.
My whole life, it's always been, no, pack your bags. We're going on a guilt trip.
I love him, and he knows that.
Help your mom out if you can. Help anybody out if you can, but if they're ungrateful, don't worry about it.
You brought it into the defendant's repair shop to fix it.
A vehicle held hostage.
He's been paid in full, and my car is still sitting on his lot for 10 months.
Is her car running now?
Yes.
What? Since when?
And she's about to blow a gasket.
He refuses to give me my money back.
He's not going to give you your money back.
Of course he's not. That's why we're here.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jacqueline Pewitt is suing car dealer Freeman Munger for the return of her car, lost wages, and emotional distress.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 85 on the calendar in the matter of Pewitt versus Munger.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, ma'am. Have a seat.
Miss Pewitt, what kind of car do you have?
It's a 1999 Mazda Millennia.
And when did you purchase it?
I've been had that car maybe about 3 years.
Who did you purchase it from?
From a private owner.
And how much did you pay for it?
$2,000.
At some point, you were having some trouble with the car, and you brought it into the defendant's repair shop to fix it. When was that?
That was on August 4th of 2015.
What kind of work do you do?
I am an account executive for a company, Central Payments.
Are you still working for them?
No, Your Honor, I'm not.
Where are you working now?
Right now, I'm unemployed.
When did you become unemployed?
The first of this year, when my car wasn't running and I couldn't get around to do my job.
Well, you brought your car in August.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you working in August?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
September?
No, ma'am.
You told me that you lost your job January 1st when you could no longer get around.
But I was still actually in work. I could still do it. After the car wasn't fixed by January the 1st, I could no longer work for them.
That's not what I asked you. I want to know if you got a paycheck from the company in September of 2015.
No, ma'am, I did not.
October of 2015.
I did not.
November 2015.
No, ma'am.
December of 2015.
No, ma'am.
So that you were unemployed as of August of 2015.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's better.
Okay.
Just getting to know the people that I'm dealing with.
Okay.
Now, it's your claim that you brought your car in to the defendant to be fixed in August, that you fully paid for the repairs on the car, and the defendant refuses to give you the car. His claim is that you didn't fully pay for the car, and he's got a counterclaim for storage and money owed for work done on the car. So you brought the car in August, and who did you see, Miss Pewitt?
I saw Mr. Munger.
Okay, and did he tell you how much the car would be to be fixed?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you tell her?
The car just didn't start with the motor. It started from another problem
problem she was having with the car. That problem was taken care of.
When?
I can't give you the exact date because...
Give me a month.
It was in August.
What was wrong with the car then?
She had ran over something, and she needed an oil pan and a radiator. And that's what caused her to mess that motor up. This job wasn't but $400. And it was $4 something. I don't know the exact figure.
Well, let's figure it out. I mean, we're in court today. We have to know what we're in court for. Do you work for him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can we move this along, please, before I start pulling my hair out? The initial job when she brought in the car in August.
Yes, ma'am. It was for a oil pan gasket along with a tune-up set. With the parts and the labor included, it was about roughly $100.
Would you show me the receipt and the bill? Show me all your paperwork on that initial...
The first one?
Yes.
On the initial paperwork, Your Honor?
The initial paperwork.
Okay, I don't have all the receipts for the initial
Just a
paperwork.
second. Well, then I'll rely on her.
Well, she might not have everything
I
either,
don't know
but
whether she does or not. You have nothing.
I have something.
Well, show me what you have for August.
That's what I was asking you.
This one's for August. There was no payment made on that until September.
That's fine. Did she make a payment in September?
Yes, ma'am, but it was after she brought the car back for the motor job, and we told her that we couldn't take on...
Just a second. Did she pay you August 18th, because the dates on this are crossed out, of 2015, $140?
No, I don't have... No.
That is
she promised to make...
Don't speak. Follow. I want you to tell me how much in total payments... Everything.
Everything.
You received...
$780.
$780.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I don't know what this is for. This.
Your
with
Honor,
a crossed-out date.
Chance to explain,
with just a second. With a crossed-out date in
allow
August.
me an opportunity to tell you what that is.
I want you to tell me exactly what this is.
Okay. On August the 4th, 2015, I took my car to Mr. Munger's place of business to have an oil leak fixed, okay?
You're not answering
I'm going to tell you what the receipt...
I don't want you to tell me your story. We got finished with you running your story when I asked you...
You never gave me a chance to tell you my story.
When I asked you when you were employed, and you told me you stopped working in January when you didn't have a car.
That's the only part you told you said to me. You didn't give me a chance to explain my story about the car.
And what I'm telling you is, I want you to tell me where you got this, not the rest of them.
That was the last payment for it, the oil leak that was done. The oil leak was $440. That was the last payment of $140.
And who signed this payment?
The same person that signed all the other receipts.
No, it was a different person.
Well, if it was still somebody that's employed by Mr. Munger. That's who this is.
I know exactly. I read your complaint, madam. I read your complaint, and what your complaint said was in August you brought your car in because it had an oil leak. You picked up the car from him. You fully paid them for the car when you picked up the car. You took the car home, and then it still wasn't running correctly. It broke down. You brought the car back to him. You fully paid for him to do other work on the car, and he refuses to give you the car. That's your story. Now I'm asking you some serious questions. This is your evidence. You gave me 4 receipts. 3 receipts total exactly what this lady says that you gave to them in total, which is $780 in total for all the work. Well, you have receipts signed by her. You're not paying attention.
I'm looking right at you, Judge.
You're not paying attention.
I'm looking right at you, Judge.
You have 3 receipts signed by her that aren't crossed out, that aren't changed in any way, for $780. You have 1 receipt.
That receipt does not have anything to do with the motor part of it, so we can disregard that, because when I put that on there, those are receipts that I could find, and that's what got scanned. That receipt was the last payment for the oil leak problem, starting with the next receipt, and the other 2 are the ones that pertain to the motor, along with this right here, where they lost my key. I had to go purchase another key. A $65 payment is the only thing that I didn't receive, that I did not get from him. I paid him a total of $925 for the motor. He said $800 for the motor, $125 for the radiator. He's been paid in full. And my car is still sitting on his lot for 10 months. He refuses to give me my money back.
All I asked you was what this receipt was for.
That receipt was for the last payment.
And just a second. And who signed it?
Judge Judy, if you let me look at it, I probably could tell you who signed it.
You handed it to me.
Whoever signed it is somebody that works for his company. That's him. That's his signature at the bottom of that receipt. And that was the last payment for the motor part. That has, for the oil leak. That has not, the other three are the ones pertaining to the motor, along with, because they lost the key to my car, I had to go and buy a key because they couldn't do it because they needed proper documentation in order to have a key made. So
now, she paid you, according to you,
yes, ma'am,
$780.
Yes,
that's all that she has receipts for.
No, it's not.
I'm not looking at you
it's
now.
not.
I'm not looking at you now. That's all that you have receipts for that I accept. $780. What I want to know from you is, what was the cost that you car?
It was, the labor was $390.
Show me. But the
Your Honor, if you were to add
I don't want to hear from you. This is not ending up with $5,000 for you. I want you to understand that.
I don't know how.
This is the motor job.
Give us the receipt for the motor.
She didn't ask for it.
Now I want to see the first job.
Thought I just gave it to you.
Is that
Yeah, that's the first one.
$241.
That's the labor. The parts is on that yellow
Just
receipt.
a sec. I'm interested in your receipts, your bills. Engine oil pan, $130, spark plugs, labor, all of this together was $241.44 for the first job.
That's the labor, not the parts. The parts is the yellow receipt that you have.
And those parts,
the amount that costs the customer payment, what they owe, is circled. That's O'Reilly's. It's their prices. He paid for those parts, so she has to pay for her parts and the labor.
I'm discounting this.
Okay.
This is her invoice, because you have a $5,000 ridiculous counterclaim that I want you to forget about, too. Now, she has a car that's maybe worth $1,500. She brings it into you, and you're charging her $1,500 to get the car up and running. Is her car running now?
Yes.
What? When was the
engine? The motor is knocking. You came, Miss Jackie. You came up there.
Don't. I'm going to say goodbye to you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Great.
The motor is not in the best condition. The motor is knocking. The motor was no good. We bought the motor used to get the discounted price, a good price for it. So by the time she came and made another payment so that we could go ahead and finish the job, the 30-day warranty was over and it was done. And we told her that we can fix it again, but she has to buy a new motor because she's still old. He had already paid for everything.
He's complete. With the money that she paid you so far, he's complete with at least the parts that he bought, and she still doesn't have a car.
The motor's $800 itself.
The motor that you picked to fix her car doesn't work.
There's a 30-day warranty on
the motor that you picked on her car that never left your lot doesn't work. Now, if she took the car out and there was a 30-day warranty and she drove the car around for 3 weeks and she started to have trouble with it, who knows? But the car never left your lot, so if you picked a bad motor, that's your problem and your boss's problem. Do you understand?
I hear you.
You hear me.
And later today...
Did you ever tell them that? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Well, that's the dumb thing he did.
Well,
and we have recording
I'm
to
going to
prove
undo
it.
dumbness.
Okay.
I'm going to undo dumbness.
Please do, because he's very dumb.
No, you're very dumb.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jacqueline Pewitt says car dealer Freeman Munger is withholding her vehicle. Freeman is countersuing for money owed for work completed, storage fees, and harassment.
Now, is her car running or is it not running?
It's running. It's not running in the best condition.
Now, when you brought the car into them, was it running?
No, ma'am. It was towed in.
It was towed in?
Yes, ma'am.
You can go and get the car and take it someplace else, and I'm returning to you the $780 that I find that I have good receipts for, so you can go and get your car, take it, and if you want to total it, you total it. I'm returning to you the $780 that you paid to have it fixed so far because it's not running properly. Do you understand?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Well, I'm going to say it to you one more time, and then I'm going to say goodbye.
Okay.
You towed your car in to the defendant's establishment. You can tow it out or you can drive it out. I have receipts for because they did not put in what I consider an appropriate motor, because if it's not running now properly, then you didn't get any part of your money's worth. And what part of that don't you understand? You're getting your car back. You're getting your car back. Put your hand down. You're getting your car back, and $780. That's what you're getting.
May I speak, Your Honor?
That's what you're getting. You're getting your car
I still
back.
have a receipt here for a key that they lost that I had to buy, which goes along with that. I've been trying to give this to him to show this to you.
$780, and she's picking up the car within the next 5 days. Your counterclaim is dismissed.
400 of what you're saying was done for that was payment for the job that had already been done.
No, it wasn't, because you have a bill there for $241.
With the parts.
Listen to me. She's getting her car back plus $780. Do we understand each other?
Well, we're also
done.
suing for storage fees.
That's denied. $780, and she's picking up her car. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I went to check on my car, called him at least once every 2 weeks.
She didn't even consider the motor I had bought for the car.
Is my car running? No, it's not. The motor we had, I don't care about a motor not working.
Well, the credit that we had did in front.
Whatever you got to do. You gave me a fee. I paid you that fee.
That she paid on.
I want my car fixed.
I was trying to help her.
I thought I could trust them, but I couldn't. And now they got up there and lied about what was paid.
That's how I got in trouble helping.
I paid that man in full. If he had told me the motor cost $1,200, $1,200 is what he would have got.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Phillips versus Steele Torres. Step forward.
Aaron and Vanessa Phillips are suing their former landlords, 20-year-olds Melvin Steele and girlfriend Azanith Torres, for the return of their security deposit and rent.
Who's Steele? Are you a couple?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you rent a house or a room or a condo? What did you rent?
We rented a townhouse and then...
Just a sec. Listen, I ask questions.
Oh, sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You rent a room, people give you $1,700.
Okay.
They're in the place for a week. And a week later, along with the authorities, police came?
Yes.
Police as well. They were told, get out of the room.
Okay.
What, are you out of your mind?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Aaron and Vanessa Phillips are suing their former and girlfriend Azanith Torres for the return of their security deposit and rent.
Now, you rented a townhouse when?
Probably October 2015.
When did you rent the master bedroom to the plaintiffs, Mr. and Mrs. Phillips?
Month was April.
How much rent did you charge them for the master bedroom?
We charged them $1,000 deposit, and it was supposed to be $1,000 rent, but we brought it down to $800, and they still didn't give us.
Just a second.
Okay.
How much money did they give you in April?
They gave me $1,000 deposit and $600 rent, then $100 a couple days later, and they still owed us $100.
So they gave you in total $1,700.
Yes, they gave me in total $1,700.
On what date did they move in?
Probably be April, between like the 5th to the 7th. I'm not sure.
And when were they told that they had to get out?
Probably a week or two later.
And they were told that they had to get out because you didn't have the right to rent that room, or because you rented the room to somebody else? What was the reason?
The reason was we were supposed to get them on the lease, and at the time they weren't on the lease. Well, we were in the process of doing it.
You rented them the room, and you didn't have the right to rent them the room.
We had the right to rent.
When you rented them the room, you didn't have the right to rent them the room, so they were told to leave. Who told them to leave?
The property. That's correct.
With who?
Along with somebody else that was supposed to rent from us.
Rent what from you?
We have 3 rooms in a room, okay? And we had somebody else leaving at the end of the month, correct? But then
not correct. Don't ask me correct.
Oh no, like okay,
listen.
no, correct in the terms of.
Mr. Steele, listen carefully, sir.
Sorry.
Listen carefully. You took their $1,700, and a week later they were told they had to get out of the room. That's what the case is about.
Okay.
Why didn't you give them their money back?
I did agree to give them their money back. Now.
So why didn't you do it?
Because there was an agreement that we had. They told us if you give us your TV, you don't have to pay us rent.
Did you ever tell them that? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Well, that's the dumb thing he did.
Well,
and we have recording
I'm going
to
to
prove
undo
it.
dumbness.
Okay.
I'm going to undo dumbness.
Please do, because
Good.
he's very dumb.
No, you're very dumb.
I'm not very dumb.
You
because
rent
he
a
was
room,
very-
people give you $1,700. A week later, they're told by the building management that they can't live there. They're kicked out. And you say, he said he would take the TV instead of the $1,700.
That's not my fault because we had a discussion. Okay, here, we have to, like, go back a little bit because...
Listen to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook.
You advertised for a room. Where did you advertise for the room?
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Yes.
So total strangers answered the ad. They gave you $1,000 in cash, another $600, and a couple of days later, another $100. So $1,700 altogether.
Okay.
They're in the place for a week. And a week later, along with the authorities, police came?
Yes.
Police as well. They were told, get out of the room.
Okay.
What, are you out of your mind?
Okay.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,700. We're done.
Really? Thank you, Your Honor. Wow.
Those are excused when they step out. Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
We got our money back. It's awesome. They stole our money and burned many other people at the same time. A week later, we were told we had to move. Eviction notice was posted on the door. They were already in eviction when they rented to us.
2 weeks prior to us even moving in, they had a lawsuit filed against them from the property manager for back rent. So they took our money, and there was other leases that we found in the house because they moved out when we moved in. And there were other leases in the house from like 6 or 7 other people that they took money from. There's people knocking on the door that I'm living there at saying, when am I going to move in?
Telling me it was a death trap.
Joke's on all of us.
Over-involved landlord.
He called me and said, I went to the bank and I got a $20,000 loan. Let's go get you a car.
And you liked her.
I thought she...
Thank you for being a good tenant.
And a big heart causes big debt.
I've helped many people in my life. It's the way I am. Sorry.
It all sounds cuckoo to me. Cuckoo.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Randy Meyerson is suing his former tenant, Alexandra Kearns, for bail money, unpaid car payments, and property damage.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 628 on the calendar in the matter of Meyerson versus Kearns.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Meyerson, do you own or rent this house? You own.
I own the house.
And it has, according to you, it has 6 bedrooms, some of which you rent.
That's right.
When did the defendant move into one of the rooms?
October 2014.
When did she move out?
Approximately July 2nd, 2015.
According to you, and according to your complaint during the time that she was there, you loaned her a lot of money for a lot of different things. The aggregate, oh my God, is $5,000. She moved in October of 2014. Had you ever met her before she moved in? When was the first time that...
WI in approximately May 20th. That was the first time that I'd given her any money. That was $2,000.
May 20th of 2014.
2015.
And so she was arrested for DUI and?
And she called me from jail. She said that she needed to be bailed out. At first, I balked. I didn't want to give her any money. But she was crying, carrying on, literally begging me to get her out of there. She hated being in jail. She told me that she would give me the money back, pay it back as soon as possible. She said if I didn't help her, nobody else would.
Okay. And how much was her bail?
$2,000.
Was that the first time that any money was advanced to you, Ms. Kearns?
No, ma'am.
When was the first time that Mr. Meyerson advanced you any money?
I moved in October 2014. I was there a month, and he immediately started bugging me about my vehicle, telling me it was a death trap. I was doing...
I don't want you to read from anything.
I was...
I want you to give that to Bird.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. He immediately began bugging me about my 2004 Dodge Neon. He was telling me it was a death trap. He kept asking me if there was somebody that could buy me a car or would. I told him no. I'm 29 years old. I cannot go to mommy and daddy to buy me a car. I was on my way home one day. He called me and said I went to the bank. I did not ask him to do that. I was fine with my vehicle. He told me that he would include it in the $550 rent. It was all bills paid, the $350. And I would pay $400 for the insurance.
Just a second. He would include it in your rent or add an amount onto your rent?
Included in the rent.
Of $550.
Of $550, and $350 would go towards the vehicle. This is after a month of me living there. I did find...
Just a minute. Is that
No.
correct?
No.
Tell me about the car.
At that time in January, it's true, very true, that I told her that the car was a death trap. It was. So I told her that with my credit, I could get a car for nothing down at a very low interest rate, and I would also deduct the payment from her rent because I'm still clearing $200 a month. I'm doing fine financially. I didn't need that money. It was just, I got space. I wanted
And
to
you
do it.
liked her?
I thought she was a good tenant. She was paid on time.
Well,
she was
if
quiet.
she was a good tenant, then you say thank you for being a good tenant.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're a bad tenant, you throw them out. If you're a good tenant, you renew their lease.
I did not like her in that sense. I said she was a good tenant.
Did you ever, between October
we-
and January, did you and Miss Kearns ever share a meal together?
No.
Is that correct?
Absolutely.
I barely ever saw her.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
I barely saw her. She sometimes would have a boyfriend come over for 5 days, let's say, and I'd never see her.
Okay. So that this was an act of goodwill.
Absolutely. I felt sorry
Okay,
for her.
fine. Let's deal with then the car first. So you purchased a car. The car was in whose name?
In his name.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that she could use it. It wasn't in her name with you as a lien holder. It was in your name.
Yes.
So you had a car. The car's insurance was paid, and I assume that Miss Kearns was a listed driver on your insurance.
That's true.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Myerson, let me tell you this. I don't know what you do for a living, and you look like and sound like a relatively intelligent man. What you've just done is substantially complicated your life, your credit, and your liability for, according to you, someone that you know for 2 months who's
That's
renting
true.
a room from you.
That's true. But, Your Honor, I can explain this.
What?
I can explain this, what my reasoning was. I did not advance her 1 cent.
I just said you complicated your life.
True. But I countered what she
Compromised
said.
your credit and increased your liability.
That's true.
For someone that you barely knew, never shared a meal with, knew nothing of their background, and you look like an intelligent man. I just don't understand why an intelligent person does that.
I've helped many people.
What cars did you buy for people?
None, but I loaned a friend $100,000.
That's a different story.
Oh, it is?
Loaning a friend money. I always say you never loan somebody money with the expectation of getting it paid back. Because if you get it paid back, great. That means that they were honest and honorable. But most of the time, they will find some excuse not to pay you back. And you will have lost the money and the friend.
She was doing fine.
Just a second. But you're here, Mr. Myerson.
She was doing fine until
here.
she went off on me one day in June. I want to explain that, and maybe it will make more sense to you. But she paid on time, no problem, okay? There were no problems. We had no issues. We never argued. She was quiet. She was a good tenant. However,
she was a good tenant who, according to you, was paying $550 a month rent starting in October. And then you said you can now pay $200 a month rent, and $350 of what you pay I will use towards paying back the car.
That's right.
So she wasn't paying back anything.
That's correct.
She was paying the same rent.
Absolutely.
It all sounds cuckoo to me. I'm just letting you know. And it sounds cuckoo to 10 million other people. But keep going. Okay, so everything was fine. She's paying the same rent. She's paying the same rent, and all you're doing is you're kicking in $350 a month.
Not out of my pocket.
Mr. Myerson,
it's what I do. Sorry.
Mr. Myerson, you can argue with me from today till tomorrow, my friend. It sounds to a normal person cuckoo.
That's fine. It's fine.
Cuckoo.
Fine.
Okay, what kind of work do you do, Mr. Myerson?
I'm a computer programmer.
Keep going.
Okay, so on June 26th, she came home. This was the first crosswords we had ever had. She came in, she was drunk, she went straight for the refrigerator.
Of what year?
That's 2015. She went to the refrigerator, grabbed a beer can, poked a hole in it, started sucking down the beer, and then threw it on the ground. Beer was spraying everywhere. Then she proceeded to yell at me. The only thing I could make out of it was she said, "You're always picking on me." I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. I just said, "What's wrong?" She walks over to the garbage. She starts rummaging around, finds beer bottles, and starts throwing them at me. There's beer spraying everywhere. There's glass everywhere. Then she starts banging on the walls with the beer bottles. She's poking holes in the walls. I have pictures.
This is ridiculous.
And then I called the police.
What I would like to see first, Mr. Myerson, is the bail bondsman's receipt that you paid $2,000.
You'd like to see the evidence?
Yes, I'd like to see the bail bondsman's receipt that you paid $2,000, and that was on May 20th.
This document right here, document D.
Thank you. Well, the bail was $3,100. You put $2,000 in your credit, and $1,100 was due on the 29th.
That was from somebody else, though. I didn't pay the $1,100, just $2,000.
Who did?
I don't know.
Who did?
I did.
You paid the $1,100 that was due on the 29th?
Yes.
Okay, let me see the police report,
Here's the police
please.
report. Backs up what I said.
This is the June report of the incident where she was intoxicated.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So we have $2,000 for bail. Explain, did she pay you back the $2,000
No.
for bail? Go.
Okay, so...
No, I don't want to hear the whole story from the creation. I want to know why you didn't pay him back the $2,000 for bail.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You obligated yourself to a total stranger to buy a car and make this fakakta arrangement with her rent. So she not only had a roof over her head, but she had a new car and a roof over her head. Really, that's some deal.
And later today,
You were having a conversation with her as a prospective client. She asked you, are you an attorney or a paralegal? And your response to her was, I am an attorney. That is not true.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Randy Meyerson says former tenant Alexandra Kearns owes for bail money after she was arrested for drunk driving. He is also suing for car payments and damage to his home.
Okay, keep going.
He told me...
No, not he told you. You called him and told him you were being held.
I was being held.
So that you had one phone call.
Yes.
And you didn't call your mommy or your daddy.
No, I called
You
an attorney.
called him.
No, ma'am.
Who did you call?
I called an attorney, and he three-wayed him.
And?
And he agreed to do my PR bond for $2,000. I let him know that I had a debit card at my house where I lived with Randy, and I specified for Randy to take the $2,000 out of my account to pay the bond.
Great. Okay.
Lie.
And instead of doing that,
He took it upon
he
himself.
paid himself.
And I was not involved in that phone call.
Just a second. So you owe him the $2,000. What you should have done, if you had the debit card and you had the money right in the bank, what you do is you get out of jail and give him back the $2,000.
Yes,
so why didn't you do that?
When I asked him when I needed to get it, he said, hold off. You have a lot to deal with. Get it to me when you can.
Okay, now he wants it, $2,000. What else? What else, Mr. Meyerson? I have
Bills?
no time.
I'll
You
give
have
it-
ton. You have tons. I have no time. So
Okay,
far, she
200
owes you $2,000 for her bail.
Car was impounded.
That would be your
She
problem.
was arrested for DWI.
I don't care. Did you see the way I just said to you at the beginning of this process? You don't know somebody. You buy a car in your name with the express intention of that person, that stranger, having possession of the car, and then the car that's in your name gets impounded. So what you have to do is you have to get it out of impound. That's your problem. Next time you'll be smarter. Next.
Toll fees, $636.
Toll fees
She
on
was
your
driving
car.
all over the country.
On
I had
your
no
car,
control
in your
over it.
car.
Absolutely.
You didn't take it back.
I tried. Police wouldn't help me. Police
Sorry.
would do nothing. It's a civil matter.
Sorry. Car's in your name. She was living with you. Got toll fees. Take the car. Take the keys. Call the police. Say, that's my car. I want my car.
Toll
What's
fees-
next,
toll
Mr.
fees
Meyerson?
were after she left.
What? You
I
should have
booted
taken
her
the-
out after she assaulted me. She
Great.
took the car because.
Just a minute. Report it stolen.
I tried. They said you can't do that.
Yes, you can.
They told me I could not.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry that you got a stupid policeman. I'm
Well,
sorry that you
then
got
they're
a
all
stupid
stupid
policeman.
because I went to multiple police
I'm
departments.
sorry that you got a stupid policeman. Next.
Of 2015 through now, I made payments of $3,100. She paid me a total of $1,450.
That would be your problem.
Then I've got nothing else to submit, Your Honor.
You made an arrangement.
I have nothing more to submit.
Great. You made an arrangement with her that she didn't have to pay anything on the car, $550 for rent, and you would take out the $350, leaving you with $200. That was your arrangement with her. Then you had a fight, and she was drunk and disorderly, and you threw her out of the house. And as well you should have. Well, then she couldn't pay you the $550, the $350 for the car. That's why I said, in October of 2014 when she moved in, and 8 weeks later, you obligated yourself to a total stranger to buy a car, put it in your name, give her the ability to drive around in it, unfettered, and make this fakakta arrangement with her rent for free. So she actually paid the same rent, and she not only had a roof over her head, but she had a new car and a roof over her head. Really, that's some deal. Well, that's what happens when you act like a jerk. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. We're done.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are done.
I just excuse you to step out.
That woman trashed my vehicle. $8,000 worth of damage.
That's what I paid insurance for. If he bought me these things and did these things, that I would want to date him.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Sharp versus Lopez. Step forward.
LaTanya Sharp is suing Lucia Lopez for the return of money she paid to create a trust and for fraud.
Ms. Sharp, it is your claim that Ms. Lopez actually scammed you out of money. She claimed to be an attorney. You turned over a trust to her that you wanted redone. You found out she was not an attorney, and you want your money back. In addition, she has papers that you claim belong to you, and those papers are the previous trust that you had that you wanted her to modify. First, do you have those papers?
No, ma'am.
Where are they?
They are in her possession. She refused to sign a certified letter. And I have a certified letter stating...
Well, if she didn't sign for it, then they wouldn't have given it to her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You know, Miss Lopez, I thought maybe you just made a mistake, but you're a hustler.
I am not.
Oh, yes, you are, because you just said to me, I referred her to an attorney.
There was a conversation prior to that.
Now, show me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
For the return of money she paid to create a trust and for fraud.
Okay, if she refused to sign it, then you have to find out where they are.
I did contact the mail carrier, and they said that she kept possession of the letter, and it was a binder, and she just refused to sign the
document.
The document. She wrote refused.
Okay. How did you find her?
Yes, I met Miss Lopez through a closed Facebook group that is set up for residents of Chino and Chino Hills.
You met her online.
Okay, I met her online
on
in a Facebook group.
You met her online on Facebook.
But anyway...
did she tell you what she did for a living?
I asked her what she did. She told me she did labor and HR matters. And then she also said, well, I also do wills and trusts.
And you said?
I said, oh, I'm actually looking to redo my living trust. And I asked her, was she an attorney or a paralegal? She told me she was an attorney. And I asked her how much it was going to be, but she said that she needed to...
And this was all done...
In a message.
In a message?
Yeah, on Facebook.
I'd like to see that.
Yes.
I specifically want to see the part where she says, I'm an attorney.
Okay.
Well, you clearly stated to her in this exchange that you were an attorney. You want to show me something that's different from this?
Absolutely.
I'd like to see it. Just show her this, please. Now, you clearly told her you were an attorney. This ad also says attorney at law, Lucy Lopez. That's you. It's the same person. Are you, in fact, a licensed attorney?
I'm not a licensed attorney, and that email that I provided shows a thread that the founder of that Facebook group created. That advertising. I
don't care. You were having a conversation with her as a prospective client. She asked you, are you an attorney or a paralegal? And your response to her was, I am an attorney.
Ma'am, I also stated that Fred was the attorney, and I gave her the contact information right below.
Oh, she said, I need a civil attorney. You told her you were an attorney. That is...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You know, Miss Lopez, I thought maybe you just made a mistake, but you're a hustler.
I am not.
Oh, yes, you are, because you just said to me, I referred her to an attorney. And what she said in the line immediately preceding that is, I have a civil case and I need a civil attorney, because she asked you what you did and you told her, can you refer me to one? And I will certainly keep you in mind for my wills and trusts. And for the civil attorney, she referred you to a Fred.
There was a conversation prior to that.
Show me.
It was a phone
Whatever money you
conversation.
took from her, you took under fraudulent pretenses that you're an attorney. You owe her. How much money did you send her?
$200 as a deposit. However, what I'm suing for...
I don't care what you're suing for. I want to know how much you sent her.
$200.
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I clearly stated that I was not an attorney.
Ms. Lopez, she is a scammer.
She sued me for $6,000 when she gave me $200.
She represents herself as an attorney person that thinks she's something that she really isn't.
A major complication
You each have a child who has the same father.
Yes.
leads to a violent confrontation.
I said, Zuri, why are you at my house at 1 in the morning? She's like, I need to speak to Gary. She's extremely intoxicated. So then she reaches under Gary and grabs my hair and pulls me into the hallway. And then that's when we start to fight.
There are pictures here of a broken windshield.
Honestly, I have no idea what she's talking about.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Lisa Johnson is suing the mother of her boyfriend's child, 24-year-old Azuri Page, for assault and vandalism to her car.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 132 on the calendar in the matter of Johnson versus Page.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Are connected because you each have a child who has the same father.
Yes.
Would that be you?
Yes.
And it is your claim that the defendant came to the house. You live together?
No. Well, as of now, yes.
As of?
Back when the case happened, yeah, we did live together.
And while you were living together, it is your claim that the defendant came over one evening, assaulted you, and vandalized your car.
Yes.
The defendant denies she was even in town on the night that she's alleging that this happened. And she has a counterclaim. She says that you've been harassing her. She believes that you somehow vandalized her car with some foreign object in her gas tank. She's got a counterclaim. Okay, when did this incident happen?
On May 5th.
Of this year?
Yes.
What time?
It was about 12:30, between 12:30 a.m. and 1 a.m.
So tell me what happened.
Okay, Your Honor. On the night of May 5th, me and Gary were celebrating Cinco de Mayo. We had some margaritas and tacos, and then we were going to call it a night around 12:30. Gary goes to bed, and his phone just starts to ring right before I lay down. And it's an unknown call constantly coming in. So eventually I answer, and it was a...
How many times did it ring?
Probably about 5 missed calls.
Okay.
And so finally I pick up, and it's Azuri on the other line, and she's like, where's Gary? And I said...
Now times.
We've known each other for over 3 years.
So you knew her voice, or she identified herself?
Exactly, yes.
What did she say?
She said, where is Gary? I said, he's asleep. She said, he's been at my house for 3 nights. And I said, well, that's impossible because he's been home. So she's like, well, where is he? I said, he's asleep. She said, wake him up. So then I wake Gary up, and I hand Gary the phone, and he's like, this is a joke, just hang up. So right before I hang up, she says, open the door. Right before we opened the door, it was a knock maybe 5 seconds later. So Gary runs to the door and looks in the peephole, and he can't make out who it is. She's like leaning on the door. So then I look in the peephole, and I said, Gary, this is Azuri. And Gary's like, is it? So he looks back in the peephole, and then I yell, we didn't open the door yet. I say, Zuri, why are you at my house at 1 in the morning? She's like, I need to speak to Gary. I said, okay. So then Gary's like, well, what do you want? So immediately I call the police. And I said, I need a police officer dispatched to my location. So Gary goes and opens the door, and she's like, she's extremely intoxicated. She's like, I need you to come to my truck. And Gary says, why? I'm standing behind Gary. Gary has his hands on the side of the door. I'm standing behind him, and she's like, well, I need to speak to you. I need you to come to my truck. So then Gary's like, well, what do you need? Then she calls me a drunk and just starts like talking crazy and calling me names and says I'm scary. And then we started arguing and grabs my hair and pulls me into the hallway. And then that's when we start to fight. I have pictures of bruises, scratches, and everything from that night.
I'd like to see them, please. I'd also like, did the police ever respond?
Yes, they did.
I'd like to see the police report.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's also pictures in there of the broken window as well.
Well, I see the window. We haven't gotten to the window yet.
Okay.
Now, there are pictures here of a broken windshield.
Yes.
And the police report is clear that after the police came to discuss what happened to you, you were sort of reluctant to speak to them and a little, according to the report, a little intoxicated yourself.
Yes.
A sergeant also responded to the location, and it was the sergeant who observed the broken windshield on the car. When they identified the car as belonging to you,
yes,
they went back upstairs to speak to you. At that time, since you believed she had broken your windshield, then you said, well, that's enough. I want to press charges. So that's how we're here.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I get from reading this report. Okay. What time had you parked your car that evening? You told me before that you and Gary were living together at the time.
Yes.
That's not what it says in here.
Yeah, Gary was living with me on and off around that time.
Well, now it is. So Gary was living with you on and off.
Yes.
Lisa, that would be you, right?
Yes.
Lisa said that Gary, her child's father, was only there to watch their child. Lisa and Gary were no longer in a dating relationship, nor was blank and blank. I assume her and somebody else said that even though that they had problems in the past, they had not seen or spoken to one another in quite some time. Lisa claimed to have no idea why the defendant and her friend arrived at the door. Now, you didn't tell me about a friend.
I was getting to that part. So after the right after we started fighting, Gary pulls us apart. Her friend runs in out of, I guess it was someone she was riding with in the truck. She runs in and pulls me back. Gary pulls Azuri back, and they stop the fight. Azuri then snatches away from Gary and runs out the front door into the back of the parking lot. Her friend then leaves out the back door to the parking lot where they were parked at. I went back in the house right after, and that's when I would say maybe literally 2 minutes later, the police showed up. The police asked me what was going on, and I told them that it was an
I got what you wrote, what you said to them. I read what?
Honestly, I have no idea what she's talking about.
Okay.
I was out of town that week at my mom's.
Okay.
I wasn't even there.
Yeah.
I have not spoken to Gary, to her. I do not associate myself with them whatsoever. And this has been going on for 3 years. Ms. Johnson has followed me to 3 different jobs.
No. We're talking about something, Ms. Page, entirely different, following you 3 jobs. If your testimony is, I was out of town at my mother's house, then you have nothing to add to your testimony. Then I have to make a decision as to whether or not I believe her or believe you. Do you have any witnesses to testify that you were out of town that evening?
Yes, my fiance dropped me off to my mom's.
Great. That would be your witness. And you have a witness what happened that night?
Yes.
You have Gary.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't actually have to hear either one of them. I just have to make a judgment as to whether Miss Johnson caused little marks on her face and whether Miss Johnson took a rock or something and busted out the windshield of her own car that night and then decided to blame it on you. I have to decide whether that happened. I don't think that happened. So I'm quite sure that your fiancé would say that he dropped you off at your mother, came to the house, and there was a fight. So. Do you have an estimate for the windshield?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have it fixed?
No, ma'am. It's still not fixed.
Where is it?
It's at home. I've been riding with it with plastic on my window, which is, it's really hard because I have to have my son sit in that back seat.
Okay, that's $330. Now, I assume that you did not seek any sort of medical treatment that night?
No, ma'am. It was just scratches and bruises.
Well, I see the photographs. And it does look like there was quite a fight.
Yeah.
Precipitated by your arriving that night, either drunk or sober.
I was not there.
How old is your child with Gary?
Mine, she's 3.
And yours?
2.
2. You have a boy or a girl?
I have a boy.
Does Gary see your daughter often?
No, he's not allowed to. He was court ordered not to be left alone with any children. He was found unfit.
By what court?
Champaign County.
Is that correct?
That's what she say.
What does that mean?
I'm saying that's what she say. If she don't got no paperwork saying I can't be around my kids.
Are you around your son?
Yep, every day.
Well, and evidently it doesn't apply to that child.
I have no idea.
When was the last time he saw his daughter?
I actually have no idea. The only time he is allowed to, and then he sees her over there when he goes.
So your daughter does go to his family's house?
His stepmom's, yes.
How often?
Maybe once every other week, and she'll probably keep her for a couple of days to spend time with her.
And so he is permitted to see her there?
Yes, he has to be supervised.
Okay, so he's not permitted around other children. He has supervised visitation with his daughter for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is. All kinds of reasons, both valid and stupid, for making those kinds of orders. I'm thoroughly familiar with both the valid ones and the stupid ones, and that has nothing to do with you. I'm talking about judges making orders for good reason and orders for stupid reasons. It seems to me if you're not capable of having unsupervised visitation with a 3-year-old, you shouldn't be capable of spending time every day with a 2-year-old. So clearly this had more to do with you than with a child, to me, in my head, but that's only me in my head. Anyway, you owe her $1,500. You owe her $300 to fix her car, and the rest is for coming to the house in the middle of the night and picking a fight and assaulting her.
That was not me, Your Honor.
We are done here. Your counterclaim's dismissed.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Stop going to people's houses trying to fight them.
It is so crazy because I didn't do it. I wasn't even there.
Stop getting extremely intoxicated and not know what's going on.
She has no proof, no evidence. Ridiculous.
Gary? Maybe she wants Gary back.
I don't know what's about. I don't talk to him. He doesn't have my phone number.
Guess it is. I just got it.
Gary has so many girlfriends, it could have been any one of them.
You and Gary are done. Let it go.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Smith versus Brooks. Step forward.
18-year-old Courtney Smith is suing her ex-boyfriend, 19-year-old Brandon Brooks, for the return of a car, an unpaid loan, and unpaid rent and utilities.
How old are you, Miss Smith?
I'm 18, Your Honor.
And you, Mr. Brooks?
19.
It is your claim that the defendant, who used to be your boyfriend, is not your boyfriend anymore, despite the fact that you are currently, according to what you wrote here, pregnant, now back living with your parents, I assume.
That's correct.
You were living with him for a while. How old were you when the two of you started to live together?
17, Your Honor.
Where were you living?
At his grandmother's house.
With your mother's permission?
No.
So you left home?
Yes, he convinced me to run away.
Don't tell me what he convinced you. Don't tell me what he convinced you. He didn't convince any 17-year-old girl anything if she didn't want to go. He doesn't look like any Svengali to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you have the same text messages about the money for the other car?
I don't have text messages, but I do name, and his name is no longer on the title.
Oh, how did you do that?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Courtney Smith says ex-boyfriend Brandon Brooks owes for a car, a loan, and rent and bills.
So you went to live at his grandmother's house with him, and then?
His grandmother kicked us out, and...
His grandmother kicked you out?
Yes.
What's the reason for that, Mr. Brooks?
We didn't get along after a while.
Who didn't get along?
Me, my grandma, we were just always constantly fighting.
Okay, so after you left your grandmother, where did you go?
We got a place with a couple friend of ours, and we were renting a room from them. And that
So
is...
a couple had an apartment and they let you rent a room. Now, what were you doing to support yourself during this time?
I had a job and he did not.
Tell me what your job was.
I was currently working at Bed Bath & Beyond at the time, so I was working at least 25 hours a week, and I was able to support myself.
So you were working part-time at Bed Bath & Beyond. Were you going to school?
Yes, I was.
And what were you doing?
I was selling cars on the side.
How many cars did you sell on the side?
When we were together, maybe about 8 or 9.
Did you make any money?
Yes.
Okay. This case has two parts. One, you claim that you made a loan to Mr. Brooks.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, I want you to tell me when you made the loan and how much.
I made the loan in about October, the end of October.
Just a minute. End of October. of 2015, you gave him $700.
Yes.
Where did you get the $700 from?
I had received $1,300 for graduating high school in cash, so I had it in cash at the time.
Just a second. $1,300 from whom?
From family, my grandmother, my parents, aunts, uncles.
So all together, they gave you $1,300?
Yes.
And you gave $700 of that to Mr. Brooks to buy a car?
Yes.
How much was the car?
That was not true. It didn't end up like that. We didn't buy the Audi first. That was like the fifth car we bought.
Okay.
We bought a Subaru for the very first time, and it was only $300.
I'm talking about the $700 she said she gave you. Did she give you $700?
No.
Did you buy an Audi?
Yes, we did.
When you say we, how much did you pay for the Audi?
We paid $500.
From whom?
Person off Craigslist.
Did you pick up the car?
The Audi? Yes.
Okay. Where did you get the $500 from?
From a recent car we resold.
So you would flip cars?
Yes.
How much was the rent in the room?
The rent we paid half, it was $400.
Did you pay any of the rent?
Yes.
From flipping cars?
Yes.
Did you also go to school?
I did not at the time.
No, so you didn't graduate from high school?
No.
So you were just flipping cars?
Mm-hmm.
And you certainly weren't paying the $400 a month rent and putting away a lot of money working 20. Do you have any proof that you gave him this money, whether it be $500 or $700? Do you have any proof of that?
I have acknowledgments through text message and through Facebook of him saying that he knows he owes me the $700.
Fine. I'd like to see it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have a title that says it's yours?
Yes.
And you have a title that says it's yours, right?
Your Honor.
Go bang your heads against the wall, because motor vehicles will figure out very, very quickly that you got the title by committing perjury when you filled out forms.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Courtney Smith says ex-boyfriend Brandon Brooks owes for a car, a loan, and rent and bills.
Okay, so it's clear based upon this that this was the disagreement. She gave you $700 to buy the Audi, and you were together at the time. And the idea was you would sell the Audi, as you had been doing, flipping the cars, and what she wanted was she wanted her money back, the $700, and half the profit that you got from selling the Audi. That was what you were arguing with him about. Yeah. So you mean if you sell the Audi for $2,000, half the profit. That's what you were complaining about. But what you said to her twice was, you'll get back your $700, the rest is going to my grandpa. Got it? Mm-hmm. $700. Now, the other part of your lawsuit has to do with a car that you say was purchased for you.
That's correct.
With whose money?
My money, Your Honor.
What car and for what amount of money?
The car would be the 2004 Hyundai Elantra that he found and I purchased it. I paid for the smog and the registration as well.
No, smog and registration. I actually got that you paid for smog and registration. The car is registered in his name. Let's be very clear. I want you to tell me who paid for that car.
I paid for the car, Your Honor.
Is that correct?
No.
I didn't think so. How much was the car?
$500.
Who did you buy it from?
My friend.
When?
In October.
In whose name is the car?
Mine.
Was it your intention to fix up that car for her to drive?
It was for both of us to drive.
Do you have any proof that you paid for that car?
I have a bank statement showing a withdrawal for $320.
Not interested.
The time.
Not interested.
Okay.
Not interested in a bank withdrawal that I don't know what it's for. You have any other proof? You had certainly text messages from him with regard to the $700 that you claim, and this is after the relationship, I'm going to get my $700. So where do you have the same text messages about the money for the other car?
I don't have text messages, but I do have proof that the car is now legally registered in my name, and his name is no longer on the title.
Oh, how did you do that?
Because when we had the car, he reported it stolen. Neither one of us were legally registered owners of the vehicle.
Oh, then I don't have to deal with it. Listen to me. Then I don't have to deal with it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, if you are the registered owner of the vehicle, you're the registered owner of the vehicle, and you get your $700 back, which was clearly money that you anticipated getting and which he guaranteed you in these emails that you were going to get. But if you're the registered owner of the car, good for you.
Well, the $700 and the Hyundai are two different cars.
I understand that. But whatever you did in order to get the Hyundai, which is what you wanted, has nothing to do with me. Title that says it's yours. You have a title that says it's yours?
Yes.
And you have a title that says it's yours, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go bang your heads against the wall. Go bang your heads against the wall, because motor vehicles will figure out very, very quickly that you got the title by committing perjury when you filled out forms. They'll figure that out in a minute. I don't have to get involved with it. All I have to do is say, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700. We're done.
All right, Judge, excuse me, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I ended it because there was too much fighting.
Child may not be his.
We went to court once trying to say that kid isn't mine.
I'm saying it to be truthful.
But I have over 40 different messages from different people saying it's mine.
It's all going to be done through family court.
And that's the problem we're having so far.
To be honest, I hope I never have to see him again in my life.
A painful day this boy will never forget.
The dog went behind her and bit me on the leg. I pulled my dog back and Samuel just walked off.
You either lied in your deposition or you lied when you told me your story.
And a neighbor headed for the doghouse.
All of a sudden, his son came up behind us and scared Nala.
It's the same story, just one story is more elaborate than the other.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Alberto Nunez is suing Lourdes Rodriguez and her husband Joe Rivera for damages after the couple's dog bit his 10-year-old son.
Order. All rise. This is case number 21 on the calendar in the matter of Nunez versus Rodriguez Rivera.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat.
Mr. Nunez, your son was bitten by their dog.
Correct.
You were not present when that happened?
Was not.
So only he can tell me what happened.
Yes.
Would you like to come up here? Tell me your first name.
Samuel.
Do you remember when this happened?
I think it was in December.
In December?
Yes.
Great. Tell me where you were going on that date in December.
I was walking home.
From where?
School.
You were walking by yourself?
Yes.
And tell me what happened with the dog.
I was walking home from school and across the street, and a lady was coming up towards me with the dog and baby stroller. And
So she had a baby stroller. That was this lady here?
Yes. And while I was getting closer, the dog was like jumping, saying, "Don't do it" to the dog. And while
She said, "Don't do it"?
Yes.
Was she holding on to the leash?
Yeah, she had the leash on her hand while she was holding on to the stroller.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. That is false.
Just a second. Don't interrupt. Go ahead.
And while I passed her, the dog went around and behind her and bit me on the leg.
Okay. And what did you do? Did you go home?
Yes.
Did the lady say anything to you?
No.
Did you say anything to the lady?
No.
Did you say your dog bit me?
No.
How did you find her if you hadn't said anything to her?
It was my dad.
Your dad found her?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go to the doctor?
Yes.
And you had to get a shot?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me where they gave you the shot.
On both arms and both legs.
And did you have to go back for shots more than once or just once?
I would have, but they found the dog.
So you got 4 shots that day?
Yes.
Do you remember what the dog looked like?
Yes, it was white and fluffy. It's like medium size.
Had you ever seen this lady or the dog before?
No.
Okay. You can go back there. So you can stand next to your dad in case I have any other questions for you. Mr. Nunez.
Yes.
How did you find Miss Rodriguez?
The next day after, there was another incident, and then that individual we had spoken to that was in search of that dog also realized that it was the exact same dog that had bitten him. We received a phone call that following day on December 9th. An individual from the Pflugerville Police Department made the phone call to me that next day.
That they had believed...
They did find that dog due to the fact of another individual being bitten.
By that dog?
By the same dog, yes.
On what date was the other individual?
That was on December 9th, in which that second incident occurred.
And the incident involving your son was on the 8th?
On the 8th, the day before. And then we've got documents of both of those incidents.
I'd like to see both.
Your Honor, that was hearsay. That was actually my mom was walking the dog, and the dog, there was a pit bull unleashed.
Listen to me. Don't interrupt.
Yes, ma'am.
This is both.
Both.
Unless
yes,
you,
the first is
if
ourselves.
I ask you a question,
and the second is
but
that
don't tell me
individual
what happened with
following
your
back.
mom and what's hearsay.
Sure.
I actually know what hearsay is.
You got it.
We're speaking of the dog that's bitten two different individuals, not who was walking it the second day.
Your Honor, may I point out that on that record of my mother-in-law with the second incident, it shows that the other dog was not on a leash and was coming towards my mother-in-law and our dog.
And we actually called 911 that day. My mother did.
Just a second. Were either one of you there?
No.
No, ma'am.
Now I'll hear you. Go ahead. Tell me the story.
Okay, may I approach the board?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so it was December 8th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The school was being...
Sorry, did she say Sunday?
Just listen to me. Don't interrupt her.
Okay.
It was December noon. I was going down Bishop's Gate. I saw that Samuel was coming, so my sister's very afraid of dogs, so I know to be respectful of others who are walking near us. And so I stopped to the left side with my dog on my left and on my right hand with the stroller. I directed Samuel to go around us and...
Just a second. Why would you do that? No.
I didn't direct him.
Listen to me.
I just stood there.
And you have to know, you're talking to somebody who's had dogs for 50 years and who walks dog on a leash when I'm outside. Why would you direct or suggest that Sammy go around the dog?
I directed him by standing there. I didn't tell him verbally. I just stood there to the side of him so he knew that he could pass us.
Don't tell me what he knew. He passed you.
Yes, he did.
And?
And we walked, we kept walking, and then my dog started barking as we had already walked off.
And?
And I turned around, and my dog was just barking, and the kid didn't react.
Just a second. Be very careful. You know, when you start to say things that you've been practicing in your mind to say, but as you actually articulate them, they sound stupid.
Okay.
Okay? They sound stupid. Then you're sort of right now. Because now you were turning around because the dog started to bark. And as you were turning around, you were going to tell me what happened? As you were turning around...
As I turned around, I pulled my dog back, and Samuel just walked off. He didn't react. He didn't tell me anything, so I didn't assume anything, and I carried on with my walk. And that's what happened.
Well, it's kind of...
I don't want to hear you, sir. You weren't there.
Okay.
I don't want to hear anything that you have to say.
May I share the photos of his...
No, you may not say anything until I ask you a question.
And, Your Honor,
I didn't ask you a question. Okay. Let me tell you, Miss Rodriguez, why when you start to tell a lie, I always have a saying, and that saying is, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. I'm going to read what you swore to in your answer.
Okay.
On the day of the incident, I was walking Nala and pushing Alana in her stroller. As plaintiff's son approached, I pulled Nala's leash and kept her on my left side.
Yes.
I directed him to pass on my right side. Once he passed, I started walking again. All of a sudden, his son came up from behind us and scared Nala. When he startled us, Nala reacted to protect us. Now, what part of that didn't you put in? You want to look at it? You signed it. You swore to it.
No, I have a copy, Your Honor.
Wait, just a second. What part of that didn't you? It was very specific. I was swinging to the right. I was swinging to the left. I turned around. He walked away. What part of all that my dog was protecting us because he came up from behind, didn't... You see, when you have a truthful story, you don't have to have a good memory. You don't want to read this again, and you don't want me to read it again, right?
Sure,
okay.
Yes.
Were you cited once or twice for your dog biting somebody within a week's period?
Once.
Once. And that was this child?
Yeah, the one.
That was this
the one
child?
incident, yes, ma'am.
And what happened with the other incident?
Nothing came to be of it. The dog was not on a leash, so it was really nothing to be...
Can I see the bite, please? You have photographs and the medical bills.
Yes. Added with those are the requests in regards to the payment made by the insurance company, the request for those dollar amounts being returned to them.
Actually, the amount that...
With the wrong name.
Like 10.
Correct.
Your insurance covered most of that?
The out-of-pocket for the medical was just a hair over the $1,346. That includes all the medical and my missing of the time from work.
No.
Medical alone.
I just want what you were out of pocket on your medical. That doesn't mean that I'm discounting.
I have the email where he sent us the out-of-pocket expenses that he...
I'd like to see it.
Of us.
Here's a copy of the two medical records.
Just a second. His out-of-pocket was about $300. Now, this is my problem with you, Ms. Rodriguez. First of all, because you either lied in your deposition or you lied when you told me your story. I'm not so offended by that, although I should be, for the court be offended by that. What I'm offended by for this young man is, I believe you sensed in your dog that your dog was uncomfortable as Sammy was approaching. Either you knew that because your dog had been aggressive before,
no,
or you knew that because your dog at that moment was agitated. Now, how long have you had the dog?
5 years.
Well, then maybe it's because when you have a dog for 5 years, and I assume that this is your first baby?
Yes.
And the dog has been your baby for 5 years, and you have a brand new baby that the dog is not happy. Been there, done that. And the dog's personality changes. The dog's personality changes because the dog is jealous of the new baby in the house. And I can guarantee you that you've seen signs of that change of behavior since your new baby came home. Whatever it is, when Sammy passed, Sammy did not come back in an aggressive way. Sammy did not double back to a barking dog. That's not the kind of child this is. And if you sense that your dog was agitated, you cross the street. You don't direct the child to walk around you, move them out of harm's way.
I understand.
Well, I'm glad you understand. I'm glad you understand. Do you still have the dog?
Yes, I do.
Well, you just be careful of that baby. I'm just telling you.
Oh, I have pictures here of my dog and the baby, and she absolutely loves.
Do you know how many pictures I've seen?
Well, I just like to say that my dog's not a dangerous dog.
Your dog bit the child for no reason.
I disagree.
There was a reason.
Listen. So far, your wife hasn't given me a reason. She's given 2 different stories, but not one reason.
It's the same story, just one story is more elaborate than the other.
No, madam. There are 2 different stories, 2 entirely different stories. And fortunately, this is on tape, so the 10 million people who are going to watch this case will see that you told 2 distinct stories, but neither one of them suggest that this child did anything wrong.
True stories are on the document.
I didn't ask you anything. Do I look like I need your help?
No, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
I would have said, I'm taking $500 off the exterminator's bill. That way the axe would have fallen on the throat where it properly belonged.
I'm not that shrewd, but...
You're not that shrewd.
You know,
well, if you were that shrewd, you'd have a TV program.
Real people, Judge Judy.
Alberto Nunez says Lourdes Rodriguez and her husband, Joe Rivera, owe for damages after their dog bit his son.
So I'm just telling you that one day, out of the blue, your daughter is going to be crawling on the ground, and Nala, Nola, whatever the dog's name is going to say, you know what, it was much better around here before I had competition. And then you're going to say, well, she never did that before. But the truth is, you've been forewarned. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Well, we're happy that anyone and everyone who was here today got to hear the truth.
I think it was pretty clear that the plaintiff was actually after cash in his pocket.
That's insulting.
I think it just comes down to how much money you want in your pocket. And
I mean, individuals who step away from their responsibilities.
Do you want to make it for profit, or do you want to make, it just depends what you want to make of it, but...
That's just an insult.
Nothing against the boy. He's a good boy.
Just do the right thing.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Fusick versus Milner step forward.
Barbara Fusick is suing her neighbor, Robert Milner, for an insurance deductible as a result of a fence falling on her car.
How long, Miss Fusick, have you and the defendant been neighbors?
Like 13 years.
That you've been neighbors?
Yes.
So, Mr. Milner, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
You had to have your house fumigated.
Yes.
And when you had your house fumigated, the company that you hired tented your house.
Yes.
But the company that you hired did something that was somehow negligent. And as a result of that, 2 things happened. A fence was damaged that separated your property, and when this tent flopped on the fence hit her car, and her car was damaged. Miss Fusick had insurance, and her car insurance paid to fix your car, with the exception of a $500 deductible.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And that's what she is suing for.
That's correct, Your Honor.
That's what the case is about. The ball is in your court. You explain to me why you think that you're not responsible to pay her $500 deductible.
Well, to start off is that they unscrewed a lot of stuff from the fence to make it fall over. They told me this themselves. They put the fence back up. I believe they told me they gave her a business card, and instead of calling me and telling me they couldn't do that, they went ahead and unscrewed these pieces.
You hired this company.
Yes, I did.
And the company that you hired
Yes.
was on your property.
Yes.
Do it to her car.
Yes. I wasn't there at the time, but...
Well, that doesn't make any difference, whether you were there at the time or not.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I didn't know she sent me a letter saying she wanted me to pay her.
Now you know. You knew you weren't coming here because I was preparing a brisket. You knew you were coming here because she was suing you.
No, she sent me a letter with the wrong name.
What?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Barbara Fusick says neighbor Robert Milner owes for an insurance deductible after a fence fell on her car.
The fact that could you have gone through your homeowner's insurance to pay for the damage to her car? Perhaps. Did she discuss that with you, whether or not you would like to go through your homeowner's insurance to pay for the damage? Did she discuss that with you?
It's been a year since this has happened. Most likely, yes, she did discuss this. And also the termite company has insurance to do this as well. I figured that between my insurance and the fumigating company would take care of this. And 6-7 months went by, and she contacted me again and said they were not paying her. So I called my insurance and told them, asked them what was going on, and then I called the fumigation company. They get back to me kind of deal, and then it still didn't get worked out. I assume that my insurance or the fumigation company's insurance would pay for this, and that didn't happen. The problem is,
if you look at it this way, Mr. Milner, she had no input into the selection of a company that you contracted with to do work on your property.
Yes.
What you are suggesting to me is that they did their job in a very negligent fashion.
Yes,
That's what you're suggesting to me. Well, but she had no input in the selection of these people.
Yes.
That was your job. So that she has two options. Actually, three. She can say to you, you use your homeowner's insurance, and I expect to be made 100% whole. And if what you say to me, Mr. Milner, is that she did suggest that to you, but you chose not to do that, because I don't hear that as soon as it happened, you said, I'll go through my homeowners, you know, and call them, and they'll come and take a look at your car, because after all, this is my responsibility.
Yes. Well, Your Honor, I never got to see the damage of the car.
Do you have photographs of the car? Maybe we'll show it to you now, Mr. Milner.
Her insurance company didn't get to see damage of the car. She turned it in before she turned in the insurance.
Listen to me.
I know.
An insurance company...
I know the fence that caused it, and it was due to me getting it exterminated. But, you know, I tried to get this fence fixed before her landlord's phone number, and she said she didn't know her landlord's phone number, and she's lived there for over 13 years. And I asked again, wait a minute, I asked again, and then she gave me her email number. I wanted to get this fence fixed. It's not my fence, it's not on my property. And I can show you pictures of it. I know it was caused by the extermination company.
That is correct.
Yes.
It was caused by a company that you selected that you now say was negligent in what they did.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So her property was damaged, not as a result of anything that she did.
Okay.
If there is any culpability, it would be the tenting company, the exterminator, and yours.
Yes. And
you chose, by not going through your homeowner's insurance, to put her in a position of having to sue a strange company, or if you knew that there was damage to the car and your home was tented, I would have said, listen, go through your car insurance. You have a deductible, $500. I'm taking $500 off the exterminator's bill. You could have done that. That way she would have been whole, and the axe would have fallen on the throat where it properly...
Shrewd, but...
You're not that shrewd.
You know,
well,
she did have a conversation.
If you were that shrewd, you'd have a TV program.
She did have a conversation with me about... She came over to my house, and she said, it's no longer the insurance company. She quit. It's just me and you. And I said, I still have an insurance company, and let me get a hold of them. And then, in the meantime, I got turned around, and I got filed... She filed a complaint, but before that, I didn't know. She sent me a letter, asking me that, but I didn't know she sent me a letter saying she wanted me to pay her.
Well, now we know. Now you know. You knew you weren't coming here because I was preparing a brisket. You knew you were coming here because she was suing you.
No, but see, she sent me a letter with the wrong name.
What? Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500.
She never asked me for the $500.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He said that he would be losing his home. I happen to keep cash in my safe.
You believe that you owe her some money.
I'm a little confused. I'm a little nervous.
I'll let you sit down, sir. Get unconfused and get unnervous.
Judge Judy.
I heard the fence behind me fall.
She taped a note to my fence.
I ran out.
It said, call me, Barbara.
I had to heave it up.
Make sure your insurance company pays
I said, got a problem here, need to pay for this.
the deductible.
She